Good evening and welcome to Monday Night Motorsport at the GSRC. No Zach Caban tonight, he couldn't make it, so me and Adam have got you to ourselves all night long and we're going to have a lot of fun together. We have starting with Super2 from Zolder, 25-minute race, should be fantastic. After that, we're going to bring you some sprint racing in the GT3s, live from Sebring International Raceway. Obviously, it's a famous combination, Sebring and GT3s. More on the endurance side, but we're going to go sprint racing there tonight. That should be great fun, particularly the feature race with the reverse grid top 10. If you'd like to see the likes of Denchi, if you'd like to see the likes of... and I'm having a complete blank in his name. No, it's gone. If you want to see the likes of Denchi coming from 10th, through in the feature race, that's where you get to see it. You get to see the best, overtaking people that have a similar pace. Should be absolutely fantastic. These are the conditions for the supercars tonight. 15 km/h wind, 19 degree track temperature, no danger of rain because that's not enabled for the supercars. So it's going to be absolutely bone dry for our brave competitors who are taking the field tonight. On pole position is Greg Favell. Next to him is Jason Spriggs. On the second row, we've got Damien Cares and Jaden Green. On the third, it's Jake Slade and Will Buchanan. Then behind them, we have Trent Allen and Tim Nicole. And in 9th and 10th, we have Mikey Hammond and Dane Snadden. In 11th is Stephen Varga. He's got Angus Lawford alongside him. Behind them are Brooks and Horton, followed by Adam Proctor and Griffiths. In 17th is Kurt Chapman. He's got David Christensen alongside him. Then it's Sam Stroud in 19th and Nick Wood in 20th. Mega field here tonight. We keep going with the names. 21st, Matt Smitke. 22nd, Jack Humphreys. 23rd, Ryan Howe. 24th, Snedden. Couldn't even get through the field. That's how many drivers we've got here tonight. Look at them lining up. They're almost going around the corner. The lights are out and they are off. Slow start from the people on the 5th row there. Looks like they're going to get overtaken straight away. Oh, there's contact for first. They both keep it on the track, but looks like Jason Spriggs is going to lose out there to Damien Kent, who's going to follow his teammate into second place. He's got contact further down the field. That's Aiden Schultz. He looks like he's had a tap from behind, and he is going to drop to the back of the field, which makes me think he's certainly got damage of how slow he is going and may have to just pull straight back into pit lane. We are watching now Jason Spriggs. Ahead of him is Greg Favell. That is something we have said multiple times. Well, not me, but I'm sure Zach has said multiple times in this championship so far. Jaden Green is in 3rd place, and then Damien Kent is in 4th. Started in 3rd. He is down to 4th position. Bit of movement further down the pack. Tim Nicole, big winner in the top 10. He's gone up 3 positions from 8th up into 5th, so he is putting pressure on Damien Kent right now. We're just going a bit further down the pack. This is... keep coming back to Houston chicane. That's 2 going side by side. Kurt Chapman, one of the cars, he's gone wide on the exit. Got to snap over, seeing that's someone off. Who's that? That's Sean Van der Meulen, I believe, dropping down the pack, just getting it wrong on the chicane. Really easy to do. So many cars, so tightly packed together, trying to get through to eventually someone's going to get and they're going to get wrong, and there's contact in the background. I think that's Joe Baldwin, just by the black livery, and the fact his name is dropping down the timing sheets. And there's a few more that have got caught up in it as they try and get back onto the track. At least 10 cars all in a pack there. I can see smoke still in the background, so certainly not everyone getting through that one unscathed. Jaden Green still in 3rd place. He's still got Damien Cairns behind him, so things are as they were at the front of this field. Difficult track to overtake at. Gonna have to be very, very aggressive, but these cars, they do allow for wheel banging, they do allow for door banging. You can get a bit physical with these cars, like we see in that most beloved of Australian championships, the supercars. And I think Nick Wood's just done that because he's just got past David Christensen, 17th, and David Christensen losing another position. Sam Stride, they must be going side by side in the background. This is Jaden Green. He's under a lot of pressure from Damien Cairns, who did start in 3rd, so you'd suspect to just have a little bit more pace than Green. Ah, no, that's Jason Spriggs now tumbling down the order, so he's had a bit of a moment now. He's had a bit of a slowdown because he's dropped behind Tim Nicole and David Cairns. And this is Spriggs down the inside. He's going to get that position back. So that's one of the positions he lost regained. That's going to put him into 4th. Behind him, Mikey Hammond is on the charge. He's up 4 spots, and he's about to try and go around the outside. No, he's on the inside, and he's got that move done. So it's Mikey Hammond now behind Jason Spriggs, and Tim Nicole is in 6th. So Jason Spriggs is the white and blue car. Mikey Hammond is the white, blue, and red car, and then the orange. Let's call it orange. Holden GSRC, no, that's right. Is Will Buchanan. So that one looked a little bit more distinctive. So keep an eye on that one. Keep an eye on the white and blue car to figure out who is where. In a similar livery to Will Buchanan, in 3rd place is Damien Cairns. And then behind Will Buchanan, you've got Tim Nicol in the white, blue, and yellow Ford. And I'm not sure what's happened. We've had a whole heap of names just dropping down the order. Jason Spriggs, Mikey Hammond, Will Buchanan, Brendan Griffiths. They all seem to have disconnected at the same time.
That's odd. It's been I think it's been a massive server glitch.
There's either been a server glitch or there's been a outage in a certain part of Australia. Internet outage.
Well, Mikey's in Tasmania, so I don't know if there's that many in Tasmania.
I mean, there could be. There's a few people that live in Tasmania, and we've got plenty of people in the server. But I would be surprised. There might be an iRacing issue. That is a damn shame for all of those drivers, and it's a damn shame for the race because it has created a huge gap between Damien Cairns and Tim Nicol. There's a bunch of the drivers in between them. Exited stage left, so there's now 3.4 seconds between them, and we are watching Angus Lawford trying to get past Tim Nicol. He might fancy closing down that 3.4 seconds himself, so he's going to do what he can against Damien Cairns. Yeah, and Bert Hop saying is mass server disconnect. That does not surprise me. That absolutely that is what we've seen. That's a shame, but thankfully it's something that I've not seen in iRacing yet.
You know, that's the first time I've seen it in iRacing. Like to have like you get one person from their end to have a problem. But I haven't seen a server glitch like that in ages, if at all.
Yeah, no, I have never seen that either. And you have been in this game for a bit longer than me. I've been in it for a couple of years now. So it just shows you how rare that sort of thing is. Thankfully, we have very stable servers. And in fact, definitely more stable than some other games, given some high-profile mishaps that have occurred in the last couple of years. But we're just cutting that further down the field to Liam Amos. He's right behind Mark McNamara and trying to put the pressure on Mark McNamara. He's got 4 seconds to Matt Smitke ahead of him. Liam Amos half a second behind him. So Liam Amos thinking he's got more pace. This is Daniel Snedden. Daniel Snedden. Sorry, you used to see a very similar name in Dane Snedden, so that's coming out. Apologies, Daniel. I'll endeavour to get your name right in the future. And he is under pressure from Alan Geel. He's up 11th place. Alan Geel up 12 places. So they've obviously both benefited from the server disconnect, but they've also made a few places on top of that, and having a great race so far.
I think it's 9 or 10 drivers that have been affected by that.
That is absolutely incredible. I'd love to see if we actually hear anything from iRacing about that after the fact, because that's going to be, I wonder if it is just this race or whether others have been caught out. And there was a crash there in the background. That is Chris Tomlin. He's had contact with, I believe, David Christensen and perhaps Aaron Bryan. I can't quite make out who's who, so I'll have to get a good replay of that. But there is a pack of 4 of them, so we won't get a replay. Yeah, we're going to watch how this turns out. Chris Tomlin in the white and orange Holden, in the white and red Holden is Aaron Bryan is the leader of this pack. Then you've got David Christensen in the red and white Holden, and Matt Smitke in the Ford in the back. Matt Smitke, a very fast driver who we see driving a whole range of tracks, seems to be pretty handy in anything that he picks up. So it'll be interesting to see how he makes trying to get through this pack, because I imagine he might have a little bit more speed. But that is Chris Tomlin under pressure from David Christensen. Absolutely beautiful move. Christensen gets it down the inside, quite tender on his way through, just slid up into his DMs and got the move done in the end. And I think there's going to be another overtake here. Yeah, Chris Tomlin falling to the back of the pack as Matt Smitke in the black and orange Ford makes the position following David Christensen through it. It's so interesting when you got out of racing like this. You lose one position, you get out of sync, you can lose another position. We see it all the time as Christensen tries to make a move in Bryan, but settles behind him in the end. And now we're cutting back to the podium battle. Craig Verfel has checked out up front. He's got almost 5 seconds on these guys, but Jaden Green, I mean, there's Damien Cairns behind them. I can read out the time for you, but it seems a bit pointless. There's a meter between the two of them going down the straight. That is absolutely nothing at all, and you can just see from the car behaviour of Damien Cairns. Looks like he's got a little bit more grip at this point in the race. Looks like he's a little bit more confident in the car underneath him. Now he's just got to try and find a way to get past. The thing is, you do not need much of a time delta to effect an overtake in supercars because you can afford a tiny bit of contact. All you need to do is get your front bumper alongside their rear wheels, and you can just sort of glide up across the car and get yourself ahead. So even though this is a tight track, even though the pace difference between them is not going to be large, you definitely are going to see some sort of move for the end of this race.
See there, Jaden made some time that chicane, but he took the risky line, that second apex of that chicane. It's a very high curve, and it's very easy to get the car to have a bad bump and spin. So he took the risk there to get the gap. Now he's got a little bit of breathing room, and it's up to Damien here to close that back down and put the pressure back on.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is something that you're going to see the very best drivers do, as Adam just so expertly pointed out. They will adjust the line depending on the race situation. They're going to play with the 1Xs. They're going to play with hitting some of the more dangerous curves. They're going to play with anything they can to be able to carry that little bit more speed. And they will have practiced this a lot. They will have practiced this before the race, or they will just be familiar with the circuit, and they're going to know where you can afford to push, because there'll be some curbs, if you hit, it's a guaranteed collision. Others you can hit, and you know, actually, when you get it right, you can handle it, but it's not something you want to do lap after lap after lap. And there's going to be 1X places where you're like, I know I can hit this curb this much, but anything more than that's going to get me a 1X, and you're going to decide how close you get to that based on how long you've got in the race, how much pressure you're under, and based on how slow you are. So at the start of the race, you might avoid it completely, but as you get to the end, like, I've got 15 1Xs, and I've got Damien Cairns breathing down my neck. I'm absolutely going to start using that and spending my 1Xs, whereas the drivers further down the pack, they can't afford to do that because they know they're going to make mistakes, and they're going to use those 1Xs, and they do not want to get a drive through because it will absolutely destroy your race when it is this close throughout the pack. Multiple battle packs going on as we speak, even though we are well into this race, 10 minutes into this 25-minute race, as we watch Matt Smitke continuing on that battle with Chris Tomlin, and he's trying to go around the outside of Tomlin. He's going to have to tuck in behind him on this straight. Not going to be able to make a move on the inside here, so that's settled just for now, but certainly Smitke, he's dropped Tim Fuge behind him. It was Liam Amos. So Tim Fuge is making a move. He's up 16 spots, can you believe it? Into 20th position, having a fantastic race, and he is actually third in the open class. Mark McNamara is leading that second tier class at the moment, with Greg Val obviously leading the overall race and the top tier of supercars in the GSRC on a Monday night, as he so often does. Right now, we're watching Daniel Snedden, not Dane Snedden, Daniel Snedden. He's got Ryan Howe ahead of him. Ryan Howe looked like he was going to try and make a move on Alan Gill, pulled out, couldn't quite get it done, and actually looked like he lost a bit of time. So now Daniel Snedden is a bit closer, and he just locked up a little bit at Alan Gill. Saw the smoke coming off his tyre. Looked like it was coming off the inside tyre, which is what you would expect, because the inside tyre becomes unloaded, so it doesn't have as much grip on it.
Nice.
That's the one that locks up.
It looks like this is one we did where the pit lane entry is a bit slow enough to trigger the freaking off track on me.
Yes, right. Right here, so we randomly cut to people driving into pit lane. That is why, and that was actually Liam Amos, Aaron Bryan, and David Lawler that you saw jumping into pit lane, going for that relatively early start. Only 11 minutes in, no danger of them not making it to the end. They would definitely make it to the end, even with an early pit stop, but they're backing themselves to have more pace than the cars they were racing, and that they can get into clean air and crack the overcut. Generally, overcut is considered slightly harder than the undercut because you're driving on more fuel for more of the race. However, when you're in a pack and you just cannot get past them, but you just know innately you've got more pace, it can be the right strategy, and we've seen people make huge gains by affecting the overcut in the GSRC in all sorts of categories, not just supercars. Jaden Green, Angus Lawford, Nick Wood, Adam Proctor, and Alan Gill, they've all joined those three cars from before Liam Amos. in pit lane, and these are much higher up the field. Some of the top guys, in fact, Jaden Green obviously was in second before he pitted, so he's doing this to try and protect from Damien Cairns, I would imagine, fancy that he doesn't want to get overcut himself. So this will be quite interesting to see once Damien Cairns hits how they come out. I imagine Damien Cairns now will go as long as he can just to exaggerate that gap. He knows he's got clean airs 3 seconds behind him, so I think you'll see Vivell, Cairns and Tim Nicol and Jake Slade all pit on the same lap, because there's no one there battling on track right now as much. Angus Lawford, very well done on the rejoin there. Would have been very easy for him to drift wide into Tim Fuge there, but Tim Fuge gets the position. So it's Fuge in 14th. Angus Lawford is in 15th position. Sorry, other way around. Lawford in 15th. Yeah, it's Lawford in 15th. Stephen Varga in 16th. Apologies. Tim Fuge is black, blue, and pink light. Absolutely hectic scenes here so far. This is one of the closest battles on the pack. So Sean Van der Meulen is a black and green car because he just headed this pack, and that's Tim Fuge getting it wrong on entry there, and Angus Lawford just absolutely ploughing up the inside. So I think you see Tim Fuge really struggling for some reason there. It looked like he had absolutely no grip compared to the cars ahead of him. Took off damage.
A lot of the guys in practice said that corner was the hardest one because you're going to start braking while the car's still under load, and it was very easy to lock one of the front tyres up and hard to cadence it.
Right, okay, so Mike just got it wrong then, but certainly lost a heap of time there. And this is Jaden Green battling with Matt Smitke. Jaden Green doesn't need that, so this is not a battle for position. Matt Smitke has not pitted. Jaden Green has, and in fact his main competitors have all pitted now as well, and I believe they're going to get ahead of him. So let's just wait and see how this turns out. So Jaden Green is behind Damien Cairns. They were in that battle for second and third on the podium. So at the moment it's advantage Damien Cairns, and he's got 2.4 seconds on Jaden Green. So definitely worked out for Damien Cairns, just going for a couple of laps longer. I thought he might go further than that. In fact, it was only 1 lap in the end, but it certainly worked for him pulling out 2 seconds in that lap. Yeah, absolutely, Kurt. You should definitely get into supercars. They are very, very difficult to drive. They are a peculiar beast. They need quite a different driving style to a lot of the cars, even the tin top cars, because they are so heavy, because they have so much power. But as you can see, the racing is absolutely fantastic. As we'll watch Mark Horton going past Tim Fuge, not being a good couple of laps for Tim Fuge, and he has got to pit with a lot of cars behind him. Do not. So I think Fuge is struggling for pace here.
So is Mark running his Anzac livery? He ran it last week, but he got taken out like on lap 1, so he never really got to show it off. So running it this week just to get the hard work from his painter on the broadcast. So good on him, and good to see nice tribute livery there.
Yeah, it's always nice to see a unique livery, particularly one for such a good cause. And a beautiful livery it is too. It's a nice colour scheme. And very well done. Cutting down to the front, this is Tim Nicol. He's in 7th position. He's got Matt Smitke right behind him. Matt Smitke out of position. Smitke has not pitted. Those cars around him have, so Matt Smitke is going to tumble down the order when he does make his pit stop. Ahead of Tim Nicol is Jaden Green. He's 3.4 seconds off the road, so not a live battle there. In fact, a lot of the battle packs, they seem to have disintegrated as we've gone through the pit stop cycle. I'm hoping when a few more of the drivers pit, 4, 5, 6 drivers that haven't pit yet, when they do pit, I'm hoping we're going to see some of those battles rejoin. There's Watson Christensen about to make a move on Daniel Sneddon. No, couldn't quite get past. You saw how he got excited. He saw the mistake from Daniel Sneddon, tried to put on a bit too much power. Back end started wiggling out, lost all his momentum, not able to get alongside Sneddon. And both of them running a little bit wide on that corner. You can do that, and these cars are big, they're heavy. They ride the gravel okay, but you're still taking on a little bit of danger. We talked a little bit earlier about how drivers will adjust the amount of danger they take on, the amount of risk they take on lap to lap. That's both drivers accepting a bit more risk than some of us would. As we go cut back to Daniel Sneddon, he's got David Christensen still right behind him, and at the moment Sneddon is able to hold on to that position, but Christensen looking dangerous. And we've already seen him making a couple of brilliant overtakes earlier on tonight. For now, Trent Allen is leading this race. He has got Sam Stride right, 1 second behind him, so way behind him. Both of those drivers are yet to pit, so it's a bit of a full sleep trend. Driving with a half decent pace, similar pace to those towards the back of the top 10, so it'll be interesting to see where he comes out, might be able to sneak himself a good position with an alternate strategy here as Damien Cairns just manages to sneak ahead of that car there. That was a replay and then goes off track for well, so just get the move done, which I might be see if race control look at that at all. I don't think a little bit with the car coming out of the pit lane, so I think I'll be okay there. Apologies if I'm pausing a little bit, but the stream is very choppy for me, so I'm just struggling a little bit. We've got Angus Lawford here though. He's got Matt Smitke ahead of him. Matt Smitke is in 14 places. Like I said before, he has not pitted, so all these cars will be faster than him. But it's interesting because they can't find a way past. You saw Angus Lawford there, carrying more speed, going left, going right, trying to figure out how do I get past this guy, but not brave enough to shove it down the inside into the chicane. And perhaps knowing we would be in chicane, he'll just be on the outside. Trout and Sam Stride have just gone into pit lane. Be interesting to see if Matt Smitke does the same. He's continuing on for now. He's got 6 minutes to go, which will be about 7 laps, I imagine. No, it won't. Take that back. It'll be more like 3 or 4 laps. My maths is not. My calculations are out because they're not calculations; they're just regular calculations. Where are you, Zach? We need you so we know how many laps we've got left. Matt Smitke does, in fact, go into pit lane. In the end, he's dropping down the field. It's going to come out in the 20s somewhere, so certainly not in the lofty heights of the top 10 like he was for a while there, but hopefully he's learnt something from the drivers he was racing against, and they will have found a bit of pace as he returns back towards the bottom of the elite split. Chris Tomlin having to go across the gravel there. That's not going to help him keep the position ahead of Sean Van Den Beulen, and in fact it might even put him under pressure from Tim Fuge behind. No, still a bit of a gap there, so he'll be okay, but Sean Van Den Beulen gets ahead, and those two have been locked together on track for quite a while, but Van Den Beulen is ahead, and that seems to be a definitive advantage unless something weird happens further in this race. And now we cut to Alan Gilles. He's got Adam Proctor right behind him, half a second between them right now. You can see that on your screens. Adam Proctor getting a little bit of a wiggle there. Looks like he's almost getting caught out by Alan Gilles ahead. He's got so much more pace, just from what I can see. Almost pushing him around that corner. I wonder if Gilles just cooked his tyres a little bit or something similar, because they should be similar. They should theoretically be pretty similar pace, but Adam Proctor certainly showing more right now. But Gilles is up 14 positions and Proctor is up 2. So compared to the qualifying positions, Gilles is really out of position. Had a fantastic race, going to get a brilliant result, where Adam Proctor's only up 2 spots. So this is probably much more akin to his actual pace. Oh, lovely defensive drive from Gilles there. Saw how he defended the inside line, and then he stayed on the main racing line throughout the corner, but with less momentum. And Proctor tried to get the up and under, but couldn't get the under part of it, and had to check himself up. We saw him almost break. I think he did in fact break mid-corner to avoid the back of Alan Gilles. Completely stole his momentum. Alan Gilles keeps the position, and he's only going to have to do that for a couple more laps, and he's going to seal 12th position, which would be absolutely fantastic given he started 6th on the grid. Paul Car's taking a hefty amount of Vincent, lifting the inside wheel to help him get the cars turned, and the cars have been able to land and handle that violent transaction and turn it into rotation rather than just turning it into an out of control spin like so many cars on this service would do with the suspension. Just not able to handle that kind of contact. Cutting here to Angus Lawford. He's in 5th place. He's got Stephen Varga right behind him. Varga in the Holden, Angus Lawford in the Ford. At the moment in that Holden Ford Championship competition, you've got 2 Holdens in the podium positions compared to 1 Ford. So Greg Favell's in 1st, Damon Cairns in 2nd. They're both Holdens. Jaden Green's the lead Ford in 3rd. Then you got another Holden, then a Ford, a few more Holdens. So it seems at the moment like the Holdens do have ever such a slight advantage over the Fords around this racetrack, just given the evidence of their current finishing positions. Because what we do not know is where the likes of Spriggs, Hammond, Buchanan, Snannon, Griffiths, Simpson, Gilbert, Humphreys and Schultz would have been had they been able to take part in the totality of this race, but they are some of the casualties of an early incident or that mass disconnect that we had. We just need to find the story if we can. And as we continue to watch Lawford defend from Varga, so obviously Lawford in the black and pink livery, Stephen Varga is in the blue livery behind him. And at the moment you can see Stephen Varga visibly less aggressive. You remember we saw that battle between Gilles and Proctor and how aggressive Proctor was behind him, pretty much all over the racetrack and almost knocking him off. Not like that with Varga and Lawford. I suspect they're much closer in pace, and Stephen Varga being a lot more patient because they are more similar in pace and knows that he's going to have to get... Oh god, that is not what we want to see. So that was interesting. So it looked like Liam Ellis got caught out by Tim Fuge there. So Fuge gets it all wrong. Ellis gets into the grass, avoiding him, loses control, hits the wall, and that bumps him back into Fuge. That's really disappointing for both of those drivers. I think both will feel hard done by there. Both will feel like it wasn't their fault. And I think both have got a solid case and it wasn't their fault. It's just one of those things that happens in amateur racing. And now we're putting on
the run.
We're getting a really good run. Really good run on Lawford. But can he use it? He's going to try and cut back to the inside late on. Brilliant, late on the brakes. Can he get it stopped? He does get it stopped, and in fact, for good measure, Lawford goes for a spin. That's going to block him outside the top 10. Just about gets the car off the track before it gets wiped out by Trent Allen. But he returns, and looks like he's in 9th place. So he keeps a position in the top 10, but he was in 5th position. So that'll be disappointing. But absolutely brilliant for Steve Varga. I think Lawford just got the adrenaline spike. Knew he'd made a mistake. Wanted to keep the position and just got it wrong. Could also have been the tyres not quite in the right position there. He drops Greg Favell across the line. Start the final lap of this race. It's a lovely white flag being very, very close to the camera there. We've got Sam Stride here. He's in a 4-way battle. He has got Nick Wood ahead of him, Alan Gilles behind him, Adam Proctor behind Gilles. So Gilles actually, despite defending Proctor, has caught Sam Stride. He's kept Proctor behind him so far. He's not going to have to do it for much longer. 1 and a bit laps. Yeah, I agree. Probably too much rear braking. It's a good call there. It was talking about the Angus Lawford incident there. How he was braking hard as soon as the spin might have been a real axle. Locking a little bit. A couple of drivers there with damage in pit lane. So that's Eels and Fuge. We did see that contact earlier on. Sam Stride struggling here, does not have much pace. Alan Gilles almost pushing him around that corner. And I don't think that's strategy. I don't think that was like we saw Gilles and Proctor earlier, with Gilles going defensive and holding Proctor up in the corner. That just seems to be a difference in pace right now, whether that's because he's saving a bit of fuel, whether it's the tyres, whether it's just outright driver skill or a bit of fatigue. We do not know, but right now, I think we can say with some certainty Sam Stride is slower than Gilles, who's slower than Proctor, but they are in reverse order in terms of pace. As we come back to Greg Bell, he is about to come to the start-finish line to take an absolutely dominant victory. 12 seconds ahead of everybody else. We've barely seen him all night because he hasn't put a foot wrong. Takes the final corner perfectly as well. Does a nice slalom as he crosses the line. Absolutely brilliant for Val. I take your hat off, my hat off to you, sir. That was absolutely fantastic. Almost 13 seconds in the end. Ahead of Jaden Green,
no,
who just pips Damien Cairns.
No, Cairns spun.
Car going away.
That's Cairns who spun up the top screen.
Oh dear. Spinning from 2nd place.
And not finishing.
And not finishing. That's absolutely... What's happened there? How has he got it that wrong in the final corner? Going to have to get a replay of that later as we watch some more drivers cross the lines. Jaden Green gets 2nd place. Tim Nicole in 3rd. Stephen Varga in 4th. Jake Slade in 5th. Trent Allen in 6th. Mark Horner in 7th. Angus Lawford in 8th. Nick Wood in 9th. Sam Stride in top 10. This is Damien Cairns.
I think that's on the radio. I think Damien ran out of fuel.
Yeah.
So he spun and then ran out of fuel to get off the grass.
Right, so he's running out of fuel anyway and being caught by Jaden Green. There's a tiny bit of contact then, just send him into a bit of a spin. Obviously the contact, partly because it's hard to predict what's happening when you've got a car going that slowly. And then you can't get it off the grass. Oh, that's absolutely devastating. Such an easy mistake to make. So in iRacing, depending on the system you're using, you can set how much of a buffer you want at the end of the race, whether you want either in litres or in laps. So if you're thinking comfortable, you think, you set it to like a lap or half a lap. But that's time you're wasting. It's time wasted in the pits, and it's time wasted every lap after you get out of the pits because you're carrying that extra fuel for the entirety of the race. So when you get to the likes of Greg Favell, Jaden Green, Damien Cairns, who know they're going to be fighting at the front, they know every 10th of a second counts because you're never getting that time back. It's just time that is given away, so they're going to cut it close and just getting it slightly wrong, whether it was a manual calculation or it was automatic. I imagine it was automatic, but just getting it wrong and not able to make it to the line because of that little incident. But Greg Favell knows what's works for him. I bet he had a bit of extra fuel, and in fact, he's demonstrating right now because he's still driving around the track. Gets a brilliant win and 60 points to go towards his championship. Jaden Green in second, 54 points for him. Tim Nicole rounds out and a likely podium, not on the podium positions for the majority of the race. Looked like Green and Cairns had him covered, but gets a penalty right at the end. Fantastic race for him, up 5 spots from 8th, finishes 3rd. Stephen Varga is in 4th, he's up 7 spots. Then you got Jake Slade in 5th, Trent Allen in 6th, Mark Horton in 7th, Angus Lawford with a late spin relegating him to 8th. Nick Wood in 9th spot. Shout out to Nick Wood, started 20th, finished 9th. Fantastic race to get himself into the top 10. Sam Stride takes last position in the top 10 in, well, obviously 10th. Alan Gill, great defensive driving from him, up 15 spots. Takes the Hard Charger award, most positions gained, 26th to 11th. Absolutely brilliant. Go enjoy yourself with the rest of the night, mate. Alan Proctor finishes 12th, Ryan Howe 13th. This is what it looks like in the Super 3. So, of course, we got 2 categories here, the Super 2, which is for fast drivers, and the Super 3 for slightly slower drivers so they can have a meaningful championship battle and some meaningful class victories. Danielson Eden takes the class victory for them. 60 points goes to him. Mark McNamara is in 2nd. Chris Tomlin in 3rd. We saw him having a really good battle for half the race. Rain Visser is in 4th. Eduardo Zamora is in 5th. Liam Eels in 6th, Tim Fusion 7th, Liam Amos in 8th, Phil King in 9th, Greg Paget in 10th, Lawler in 11th, Johnson in 12th, and Gilbert looks like he did not take the start given he's down 17 laps, and it was a 17-lap race. Absolutely brilliant race there. Feel like I didn't stop talking for the entirety of the race, but that's because there was so much going on in the race. I couldn't afford to stop talking. Otherwise, we would have missed something. Close battles up and down the field, and a lot of drivers going side by side and really putting on a show for us tonight. I told you, we had you for some fun, and we did get some fun in the end. And as you might have just heard, we've been joined in the booth by some of those stars of the race. We got Tim Nicole, Jaden Green, and Angus Lawford in the booth with us. I'm actually going to cut to Angus first, because you had a really good race, a really close battle at the end there, and just got it wrong with a couple of laps to go.
Yeah, it was a bit frustrating. I was in my stream probably caught me calling myself a stupid name, because it just ran a little wide coming through the fast right-hander, and it gave Varga a good run. As soon as he went down the inside, I just locked the rears and I couldn't catch the slide, unfortunately, so it dropped me back. I think it was 9th or 8th. But overall, I'm pretty happy. Started 12th, so yeah.
Yeah, it's still a solid race overall. It's gone for a position which you can't complain. With that, you said you locked the rear brakes. Was that a brake bias setting that you hadn't adjusted? Was it just pressing the pedal a little bit harder because the adrenaline of having Varga at your inside and stuff? Because you would have been on the racing line if you're on the outside, right? So grip levels were problem?
I think I just braked a little too hard too soon, because I had the car set up so I could gradually apply more pressure, and I think I just jumped on it a little too quickly, so I was unfortunate there.
Yeah, the sort of thing you can get away with a lot of the time, but you just do it at the wrong moment. A little bit too much pressure, and it absolutely kills you when you've got so much rear brake. So much rear brake bias. But that's what you do to get the rotation, right? So, and it's worked for you, right? Because you're up 4 positions, so still a very, very good race. Was that battle with Stephen Varga the highlight of the race for you, or were there other moments you'd like to shout out?
If anything, it was my race start. It's probably my best race start that I've managed to get all season so far. 3rd week in with these boys, it's been a big learning curve being new to iRacing, but yeah, I managed to get, I think, 4 places in the first lap, and with some aggressive moves, but that's just always been the style. I always like to be aggressive and clean, so yeah, it was good fun, that first lap.
It's kind of amazing about when you do get a good start and you get that momentum and you are going aggressive. It almost like moves feed into the next move, because all the cars are so packed and you end up like offline, and then you overtake one car and you end up alongside the next one. We're like, well, I'll take you too. Like, it's funny how it works out sometimes when you get aggressive. Sometimes you get massive rewards in the first lap.
Yeah, it definitely works out because the pack gets bunched up a hell of a lot more. So, especially on a tight track like this, where, especially the chicanes, everyone's trying to sort themselves out.
Yeah, they definitely are. And a track like this as well, it is hard to overtake, so the gains you make on the first lap are worth even more. Thank you very much for joining us, Angus. I really appreciate you dropping into the comms box, and good luck with the rest of your season.
Thanks to Project 36, Fueled, Quokka, and CC Forge, Shockworks, and Cataclysm. Thanks, guys.
Excellent. Congratulations on a good result, Angus. We'll cut now to Jaden Green. Jaden Green finished second in the race with that. Well, we saw that instant at the end. Can you just talk us through what happened there with yourself and Jason Sprit? No.
Damien.
Thank you, Damien. I'm looking at the names. I'm like, nope. Where is he? Because obviously he just ended up in a random position on my screen, so it's 20th in the end. Yeah. So he from what I hear, from what we saw, it looked like he was running out of fuel, and you caught him at a rate of knots, and there was a little bit of contact to the final chicane.
Yeah, he was running out of fuel, like you said. So I ended up passing him by like 6 seconds on the last 2 laps. So I tried making a move up the outside of the hairpin, couldn't pull it off, and then I think we just door bang going into the chicane, and then coming out of the chicane, he just lights up the rears. I checked with him after the race, and he doesn't think I hit him at all. I checked the replay, and it doesn't look like it. So it's an ambitious move, but it worked this time.
Yeah, it absolutely did. I mean, second place, absolutely fantastic. And like I said, it kind of came out of nowhere because you caught him so quickly. So imagine you'd sort of resigned yourself to third, and then all of a sudden, seconds on the cards, right? So of course you're going to go for it. Yeah,
well, I was trying my hardest to finish with 0x's, and then I got a 0x coming out of the pits. So I was just went full attack mode. So I ended up pushing for the last half of the race, basically, as hard as I could without getting off track. But yeah, ended up. It was a pretty processional race, to be honest. It was, just don't make a mistake because there's someone 2 seconds ahead of you, 2 seconds behind you, so...
Yeah. I mean, it was processional for you. It was pretty good fun for the rest of the field. I think everyone down from, like, 7th down in particular had a much more interesting race, but it's such a hard life, right? Being at the front, being quick. Must be absolutely terrible.
Mentally, it was difficult trying to keep punching out fast laps with the tyres just overheating.
Talking about like being at the front and trying to punch out fast laps with tyre overheating, do you think that's where Greg Vervel's pace comes from? He's so quick here today, dominated the race. Has he just got a knack of putting in fast laps and not overheating the tyres? Is that where you think that pace differential is?
Yeah, he drives these things all the time. I'd say that. He's got a good driving style that suits these cars. I don't know if he drives much else.
Yeah, fair enough. So it's a case of familiarity breeding pace, which it so often does with pretty much any vehicle. It's quite interesting though, because you do get some drivers that are just really quick in anything they hop into. I mean, John Merritt springs to mind as someone that is quick in whatever he hops into. And then you got others that are fantastically quick, but it is because they've got, well, partially. They do have that familiarity with cars, but with these cars being so peculiar, would you say these are hard cars to jump into and be quick?
Yeah, definitely. I've put in probably about 250 laps at Winton and then another 200 laps around here for practice, so you definitely can't just jump in and be quick off the bat unless you're in a Hellion.
Yeah, and sadly, the vast majority of us mere mortals are not aliens, as much as we would like to be.
Yeah.
But you're pretty close. Second is absolutely fantastic. Just been really pleased with that, and I hope you're going to enjoy the rest of your night.
Yeah, it's definitely finished higher than I expected to. I didn't feel that fast in quali or practice, but yeah, cheers boys.
Yeah, fantastic. Congratulations. And now we'll cut to another podium finisher, and I think an even more unexpected podium finisher given how far he was behind Greens and Green and Kent on the last lap. It's Tim Nicol. You must have thought your birthday and Christmas had come at once. We're finding yourself on the podium, basically at the final corner.
Yeah, I felt a bit of unluckiness for Damien. There's nothing worse than losing it right at the end and then running out of fuel. But yes, I was like, oh, I'm going to end up with a podium, and I'll have to find my way to the green room, because I was not expecting it. I couldn't pull down a lap in qualifying. I could not get my head around the chicane. Good on you, Jaden. 200 laps, only did 50 odd. So yeah, maybe I needed another 150 laps to get my head around the chicane, which I did near the end.
Well, we can use those maps to figure out how much time was gained per practice lap, and then you can do the maps to figure out how many you need to get to Greg Favell.
Oh yeah, well, that's a whole other story. He is an alien. I haven't seen him drive anything else, but this gen supercar. The current gen supercar that we run in iRacing, yeah, he's quick in both of those. I've run the same set that he's running, and he's a second quicker. Just blows my mind.
Yeah, I think there might be a divide by zero or some other sort of mathematical illogical situation going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, such as his pace, absolutely fantastic, 13 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. It was just crazy.
Yeah.
So other than that podium, which is obviously going to be a highlight of the race, because tell me how many times did you get a podium? What was your highlight of the race in terms of battles and wheel-to-wheel action?
Yeah, I think one low light was I got a slowdown, which I lost a few spots, but I think I don't know what happened. There was a number of cars that lost packet loss and ejected out of the server, so that was beneficial to a lot of us. But for me, my highlight was I reckon about 10 minutes to go after the pit stop, or just before the pit stop, I got my head around the chicane and realised I had to brake a bit earlier and carry more speed through. And I dropped a 29.5 and I was starting to close on the back of Jaden. But then we were thinking about, will I actually have enough fuel? Because not that we were running the same fuel strategy, but with Damien and Greg and Vargs, us all in the same server, we're all starting to question ourselves if we had enough fuel. So I ended up backing out, tried to clutch it, ended up in the sand at turn 1, and I was just like, what are you doing, Tim? And then realised it was a white flag anyway as soon as I went through. But yeah, the highlight was definitely putting down a fast lap and trying to apply some pressure to Jaden. I think I was near either second or just under a second on his tail at one stage there. It might have been just on a second.
Yeah, you're too close for comfort.
Yeah, I was reeling him in. I was feeling comfortable at that point, but yeah, anyway, I've got to be happy with the third.
Yeah, you got to be happy with the third. It is always a good feeling when there's a corner and you suspect there's time there, but you can't figure out how to get it, and then all of a sudden the penny drops. It's fantastic. You just do it once, you're like, oh my god.
Exactly.
I didn't even feel like I was pushing that hard.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, it is weird. It's like, and I'm not using as much throttle, and it's not as much brake. It
feels faster and safer. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us. Congratulations on your podium. Go and enjoy the rest of your night, unless you're going to be joining us with the GT3s, in which case, good luck for, regardless of that, good luck for the next race at the GSRC.
Yeah, no worries, Liam. Just a quick shout out to my teammate Vargs and the team QPR, Quantum Pecky's Racing, and the boys there. That's they do a good job in keeping us all motivated. So yeah, see you later. Thank you.
And let's go talk to his teammate right now, Stephen Varga. Fantastic racing. Got 4th position in the dying laps, getting the overtake done on Angus Lawford before he had his spin trying to defend it. That must be really satisfying.
Yeah, it was a tiny bit messy. I wish I didn't cut the chicane because I was going for a zero incident race, but wasn't to be. Ended up mucking that up. But yeah, everybody was talking about fuel and I started licking my lips. Ooh, getting close here, but wasn't to be again.
Just needed one more lap and you're in.
That's it.
Nah, absolutely fantastic. And up seven spots from a qualifying position. That's got to be more than you were expecting going into the race.
Yeah, look, it was unfortunate for people to drop out. It would have been interesting to see where I would have finished otherwise. But yeah, no, I just had to pit early, try and get away from people that I felt were slowing me up a bit, and yeah, just driving my own race really.
Yeah, we did see quite a few drivers go for the overcut, and it seemed to work out for quite a lot of the drivers. I imagine that is because of, like you said, it's easy to get held up by slightly slower drivers when the track is this tight, and it is so difficult to get an overtake done without the car ahead obliging in some way or making a mistake. So I think you definitely made the right call and strategy.
Yeah, once I'd done that, I wasn't sure if I'd made the right call because I was behind people that were still to pit, thinking, I think I've mucked up here, but no, it was all good. It was a good race. Thanks to Greg for supplying the setups. Thanks to GSRC for hosting the races each week.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure, and I'm sure Zach's very sad that he missed out on this race and isn't able
Thank
to
you to yourself also, sorry, for doing the commentary, the broadcast.
Oh, you don't say. No. And thanks to Adam for doing the producing.
Yes, so thank you to Adam, yes.
The problem is you don't realise how many people go into doing something like this until you start valuing, like, oh, well, I guess I should thank them, I should thank race control, I should thank the committee, and then all of a sudden you've got like 30 names. But
thank you, Tim, Quantum Pecky's Racing, and anybody else I've forgotten, I apologise, but thank you to you.
So,
I love you, Bugs.
Love you too, mate.
Thank your wife first.
Oh, yeah,
she doesn't listen, it's okay. She don't care.
Alright, well, thank you very much for racing, and thank you very much for joining us in the commentary box. Good luck with the race next week when Zach's going to be back on the broadcast, and fingers crossed for you in the championship.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And now we'll cut over to our winner of the race today by an absolute country mile, the fastest guy in the server, Greg Favell. Another victory for you. Absolutely fantastic. Did you see another car all race?
A few of the lap cars, but look, I just wanted to finish this race after I missed the first race due to getting called out to work just before the race started. And then last week I copped a little bit of a tap from behind and sort of race was over at the beginning, so I just wanted to really finish this one, so happy to bring it home and make the start.
Yeah.
Oh, dig it in, Greg. Just dig it in.
Reasonable start.
Last week?
Look, your teammate last week and my teammate had to go this week. All good.
Not only did you finish it before everybody else. What is the secret to your pace around here? Because you had well over half a second on the rest of the field. So where does that come from?
Like Tim said, I only really worked out, I've done a lot of practice this week, especially trying to get it set up and stuff, but I only worked out that chicane tonight. I was trying to brake too late, like braking early and like Tim said, carrying a bit of throttle through the chicane. That's where you make up all your time on this track.
Don't lie, you hold off going to the bathroom before the race and then you just jump in.
Yeah, no, I'm too old to do that. Yeah, so, I don't know, it's just practice and getting used to driving these types of cars. Coming from the current generation supercar to driving this makes it a bit easier too, so.
What is the difference between driving the current generation supercar and driving this?
I think this one's a lot easier to drive than the current. It's, yeah, it's like driving a NASCAR and around a street circuit and then jumping in these. You just pick up all the throttle control and the braking. So, yeah, I think it's just down to practice. And
do you drive it with the manual gearbox and the clutch, or do you let the sim take care of that?
I use it with. I don't have like automatic clutch. I blip, but I don't use the clutch to shift up or down. Only to start. So
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think my legs could handle that. My body's falling apart at the moment, so.
Yeah, no, and the coordination required to do it baffles my mind. I've tried it a few times, and it's very difficult. Anybody else in the chat at the moment going for the Hoffel heel and clutch and doing all that jazz?
Definitely not. No, I think you got to put a lot of. I have tried it, and it does work, but you've got to put a lot of time and effort to get that coordination, which I don't have the time.
Yeah, you got to put in enough time for it to become second nature, because you do not want to be faffing around and getting it wrong in the middle of a race, because it's just going to end it.
Yeah, 100%. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Fantastic. We did meant to hear another of the drivers. Apologies, I can't remember who it was. Talking about the tyres overheating. Is that something you found as well? That the tyres can overheat if you don't treat them right?
Not in this car. This car seems to, especially since the shorter races, tyres sort of hang on for the whole stint in these compared to the current generation. You can really overheat the tyres in those. I mean, if you're sliding the car around, you will overheat them, but
I find like tyres hang on well.
Yeah, as long as you're reasonably sensible and keep it fairly smooth.
You've got to be smooth, but that's the secret of driving these cars quick too, is smooth on all your inputs.
Yeah, I feel like it's the case with quite a few of the cars. You treat them nicely and they treat you nicely back.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, good fun to drive though. Enjoy it.
All right. Well, congratulations on finishing. I mean, you said you wanted to finish. You finished well before anybody else, so congratulations, and good to get your championship finally off to a start. 3 races in. Does mean you've swallowed up a few of your drop rounds. You're going to be able to make every race for the rest of the championship and really put together a championship run.
But there's a high chance I won't. I've got to have my phone sitting next to me in case I get called into work. So, yeah, I would say there's a good chance that I'll be missing a race or two throughout this season.
We're just going to have to win all the others and hope that's enough.
Just going to have to work on some bonus points. Hope for the best.
Yeah, well, it'll be an interesting storyline to watch throughout the season. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Greg and Stephen. I'll let you all go now. And Jaden. I'll let you all go, and we'll cut over to the GT3s because they will be starting in not too long. And,
what track are they racing here? Sorry.
Pardon?
What track are they racing?
Sebring.
And sprint racing.
Thanks, fellas.
Thank you. Alright, and of course, there's some other people we need to thank, and those are the lovely sponsors that we have on board with the GSRC that allow us to put on these broadcasts, keep me and Adam entertained for a few nights a week. We've got Sprayton non-alcoholic cider, Waste Options, Orbic Australia, Lobesy Racing, M-Wave Australia, and last but not least, Flash Graphics. And so many of those sponsors are tied to certain drivers from the GSRC, so we really thank them for bringing those sponsors on board. And if you would like to be a sponsor, just get in contact with any of the committee members and they will sort you out. We do have some series that do not have a title sponsor at the moment, so there are opportunities there as well. If you'd like to be a sponsor for one of our series, that is something you can do. Just get in contact with any of our committee members. And I'm going to cut to a committee member right now in Adam Lavis, who's been putting on a fantastic production for us. Is there anything you'd like to say about the supercars before we take a short break and cut on over to the GT3s?
Yeah, just unfortunate for those few guys that got caught out with that server dropout. That's very disappointing. Obviously, they have our hands, but hopefully they'll come back even stronger next week and make up for that and get some good points on the board. And but yeah, other than that, we've got some racing. Got fields, still strong fields tonight. Slowly starting to spread the Super 3 guys back up a little bit. So we're just trying to get that good field spread there and give the guys a little bit of someone to race with. So looking fun. Hope the guys who managed to stay in the server had a good night, and we'll see how we go next week. We're on next week. I'll just push this button. There we go. Sandown. There we go. That's a classic supercar track. So pretty sure they'll be there with bells on next week. So, but yeah. So hopefully the servers are a bit more stable next week, and everyone gets to have a good crack around the down the Dandenong Road.
Yeah, Sandown and supercars, absolutely. Iconic combination, should be absolutely fantastic. We've had a really good racing there in the past when we have taken the supercars there, and in fact when we're taking the GT3s or just about any car there, it's always a good watch. So definitely tune in for the return of Zachhaven a week today for that. But before then, we've got more Monday night action coming to you in the GT3, so we will be back in a few minutes' time. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed that relatively small break. We had a super first race for the night, and I hope you picked up on what I did there. But now it's time for the main event down over at Sebring in Florida. It is GT3's, the most prestigious and largest championship that we host here at the GSRC. It has been dominated by one name for the last few years, and this is why we don't only bring you the pro split these days, we also try to bring you the amateur split when we can. And that's what we're going to be doing tonight. We're going to start off with the amateur split for the initial shorter race of the evening, and then we'll head over to the pro split for the feature race tonight. Track conditions absolutely perfect. 27 degrees is just switched over for us there. And 13 kilometers an hour wind. It's looking a little bit overcast there. I don't know if we're forecast any rain for today. Let's see if we can have a look at what the forecast says in the session. Yeah, I can't because I am not in that one. I'm not in the right session. So that's not going to help. We'll have to wait and see where, at the same time as these drivers, whether we do get any rain for this first race. But at the moment, it is absolutely bone dry. And we've got, who I believe is Ben Clean, lining up on pole position as Adam does some very quick work to bring you the forecast. And it looks like, yeah, absolutely zero chance of precipitation. According to the forecast, it will be a dry initial race, but will it be the same for the feature? Will it be the same for the two splits? We do not know, so we'll have to wait and see what conditions we get for the feature race in the pros a little bit later on. These are your championship standings for the amateurs. We've got James Francone in the lead of the championship. He's got Chris in fifth on 8 points. Joe Baldwin in 6th, 3 points up for him in his trademark. Adam Hennessy is on 69 points. Ben Torrent 3 and 8. Andrew Neal in 9th. Warren Limit 10. Laurie 5 in 11th. Andrew Franklin half. Hennessy 13th. Johnson 2-4 in 15th. And then Amos 1 Bullock 20 out of 3. Yeah, no worries. I will improve that. And the safety car gets the field underway. It will, of course, be a rolling start. And this is that starting order. We've got Ben Clean in first, Chris McDonald in second, Glenn Wilkinson in third, Rodgers in fourth, Cohen in fifth, Yowen in sixth, Fever in seventh, Zamora in eighth, Bullock in ninth, Bleakley in 10th. Normanson in 11th, then Neil, Franklin, Francone in Lavender, Hennessy, Ibbett, Fuge, Kamo and Hannah. The one to look out for is Francone. He's starting in 14th despite being leading the championship, which means he should have plenty of pace and be putting on some moves on this field as they get underway. Clean gets a good start. McDonald is still alongside him going into the first corner, but Clean just cuts across him, just about has space, comes over to take the race in line. Very nicely done. Gary Wilson has an initial look at Chris McDonald, was not able to spin it down there. I think that is Brian Bullock going for a spin. No, it's Shannon going for a spin. He's dropping down the order. Don't know if there was a little bit of contact. We'll have to get a replay at some point, but not right yet now because they're going 2, 3, 4 wide in the background there. Ben Clean still in the lead. That's another car going off. I think that is. It was a Merc. Can't see many Mercs. But we got a Porsche in the lead at the moment, followed by Ferrari, followed by Lamborghini. 3 different car manufacturers in the top 3. We do try and keep the balance in the GSRC. We do not use just the standard balancing that iRacing has. We do our own balancing, and they've done a fantastic job, have the organisers, for this series. Andrew Neal, the big move at the moment, he's up from 12th to 4th. Having a watch on our championship leader, Francone's only made 1 position, he's only up to 13th, so he has not made the progress he would have hoped that he's going to maintain that comfortable 20-point lead at the championship. But Ben Clean's got the start he wanted in that rather uniquely liveried Homer Simpson machine. That is a livery you'll recognise if you are a Simpson fan. And he gets a little bit of dirt on his tyres on the outside of that corner, just showing you how much he is pushing. Doesn't want to do that too often, otherwise he might send that Porsche into a wall that I'd rather not meet. The Lamborghini of Glenn Wilkinson looking very aggressive behind Chris McDonald there. You could just see with the car language looked like he was looking to see if he could find a way through, but not able to. But the Ferrari has so much pace in that part of the circuit, but then gets too wide on the exit. That's why he had the pace. In fact, he's being pushed by Glenn Wilkinson down the straight, and Glenn Wilkinson pulls out from the slipstream. It's going to be alongside him going to the first corner, but it's going to be on the outside, so it's going to be on the inside, apologies, and it's not the first corner. And no, they have contact! Glenn Wilkinson drifts out wide, there's contact made with Chris McDonald, and Glenn Wilkinson plows into the barrier. That's going to be, effectively his sprint race over. He will continue, but he's not going to get a decent position. In fact, there's so much damage, and you can see the car not towed straight, and gets contact, trying to get back on the road, gets hit from behind, but I think it was Liam Eels. Apologies if it wasn't. He gets sent into the wall again, so going from bad to worse, and that will definitely be the end of the sprint race, but thankfully he'll have another opportunity. He will start from the back, but he'll be trying to come through in the feature race if he just stay in the server. So that's elevated Colby Cohen into third place. He's got Jack Rogers behind him, and he's got a bit of a gap forward to Chris McDonald, about a second, which doesn't sound like a huge gap, but given how close this field is, it's one of the larger gaps in the field. Most cars are within half a second of the car ahead. Everyone getting a little bit squirrely in that chicane. I think that's the cold tyres you were seeing there. They're trying to get the power down, trying to straight line the chicane as much as they can. And it's just not working for them until the cars get heated up and get back into their normal operating window. And we're just watching through the cars, through the field, just trying to see who's actually trying to make a move. It's hard when everybody is so close to know where to look. That was a beautiful livery from Brian Bullock in the... an interesting take on the quite well-known Castrol livery that was most well-known from its rally days. But I'd say interesting take on the GT3, and one that I appreciate with the green and the red. Very nicely done there on that McLaren, and that is a McLaren that's up one spot from road qualified from 9th into 8th, and behind him is Kurt Nommensen in the blue and white car, running in the top 10, so he'll be fairly happy with that. He's got Andrew Franklin behind him in a fellow Porsche, and I'm just watching Greg Spencer drop down the timing screen, so I think he's had an incident somewhere just off screen. And in the background we saw another driver going wide there. Then we come back to Kurt Nommensen, and car's got a petroleum sponsor, which is, I mean, it makes sense to have a petroleum sponsor in the car. Don't see that a little bit more often, always oil. Not usually flat out petroleum. Interesting. Behind Kurt Nommensen is Andrew Franklin still in the blue and brown. What colour livery would we call that? It looks like it's sort of a Scottish motif as I watch someone going off in the background. Not sure who that is in the purple and orange car. Well, I don't see anyone tumbling down the timing screen, so it makes me think it might be a bad marker just getting out of the way. Yeah, that car. Brian Bullock, however, is tumbling down the timing screen. Something's going wrong there. Nope, it was a timing tower glitch. Oof, this is Ryan Ibbett trying to make a move in his Red Bull liveried Audi. Not something we see very often, and certainly not something we've seen F1, as they will be direct competitors. Going to try and go around the outside. That'll be a brave move if he pulls it off. No, has to tuck in behind the Porsche ahead of him, which is Bobby Kamara. Bobby Kamara one spot, already a bit down two from where they started. Ryan Ibbett going to go down the inside here though. Or gets himself alongside. No, not quite. Cuts back out to try and get the inside of the next corner. No, dives back around the outside. Nothing happening there. Just not enough room to effect an overtake. And Bobby Kamara is able to hold on to the position for now. But Ibbett looking each and every way to get past and getting it all wrong. Is getting up on the wall. There he goes. You could see from the body language. He's getting impatient. Looking left to right. Putting a lot of load on the tyres. Wiggling around behind. Trying to figure out a way past. And in the end, gets it wrong, carries too much speed, and into the wall he goes. As we could have Scott Jorgensen in the Ferrari, he's got the Merc of Pete Matson ahead of him. Matson, someone you'll see pretty much every night at the GSRC, will race anything that has a wheel, well, 5 wheels, if you count the steering wheel. Because he just absolutely loves racing. Not always the quickest guy, I'm sure he won't mind me saying, but has had a few higher up results over his time at the GSRC, and is always a good racer. So we just see if he's able to hang on to his position in the top 20 at the moment, or whether he will fall victim to some of the cars behind. But Scott Jorgensen looks to be first of those cars. He gets alongside, but I don't know if he's got the drive to get past Matson. No, and in fact he ends up behind him. And that's Benjamin Lavender, I believe. No, Janusz Magwani going off in the background, getting spun at the final corner. Not sure if it was by himself or whether there was contact. I think it was by himself. Didn't quite catch it in the background. As clean post fastest lap of the race. He's 2 seconds ahead out front. It's been a fantastic race. And a very clean race, and this is Ragwan. Just seeing what happened to him. There was contact, definitely. So, coming together, 2 different racing lines, and I think a big pace differential between Ragwani. I'm sorry, I don't know who it was that made contact with him. You can see Ragwani drifting out wide at the start of the corner, looking like he was coming back in, and the car behind is carrying so much more speed and just slamming inside of him. Ragwani ended up in the wall. And this has got Dodson. He's got quite a queue behind him. Philip Butler and Helen Q, then it's Robert McGrath, Liam Amos, Pete Matson and Liam Eels, all in that queue. Pete Matson having lost a few positions, he's down into 23rd now, was in 20th earlier on, so not sure what happened there, whether it's just an overtake or whether he made a mistake. As we watch Robert McGrath in the Nikita livery Ferrari in the middle of this queue. He's up 13 spots, so he's having an absolutely wonderful race from 34th to 20th. Yes, that's right. We've got 38 cars in this split. There is another split which will have about 20 cars in it. Over 50 cars are racing. I'll put my money on it tonight in the GT3s. Absolutely astounding numbers. Congratulations to all involved and the GSRC. Absolutely wonderful to see Monday nights in such rude health, given that we had over 30 cars in the supercars as well. That is absolutely fantastic numbers. Perhaps we may even break 100 drivers racing tonight. We'll have to do the maths afterwards. I think we might not quite be there, but that is a target for us on a Monday night.
Yeah, we'll be getting to 70 or 80. If we can get to the 90, that's when we start considering going back to the 3 splits.
Absolutely fantastic numbers. And a new like for the YouTube channel to go with it from James Lawrence. And now back to the racing. Chris Bleakley in 11th place. He is down 1 spot from where he started, jumping outside the top 10, so he'll want to get back into there. Andrew Franklin ahead of him. And then it's Kurt Robinson and Brian Bullock, the lead of this queue. So Brian Bullock in the McLaren. Looking like a little bit of cork. I say cork in the bottle. It's still so tightly packed. That is very harsh of Brian Bullock. Let's just run through some of these gaps for you and what the battle packs are. We've got Ben Clean. He's in a racing position out front. 2.3 seconds ahead of McDonald. Not a huge lead, but definitive. Behind him is... Behind Chris McDonald is Chris Coham, and that's a battle group. So you've got 2nd and 3rd, they're in a battle pack. They're not in position Jack Rogers in 4th, he's 3 seconds behind. So it looks like the 20 positions are all been decided, barring a mistake. From Jack Rogers, you've then got Yarwood, Zamora, Neal, and Bullock, all in the queue behind him. So 3rd to 8th is a battle queue. So anyone as low as 8th could get the podium. It's not unforeseeable at this point in the race, even though we are getting towards the back end of this race. 9 minutes, almost 10 in, lap 5 of 11. So, midway behind the race. Behind him is Kit Nomson and Andrew Franklin. Andrew Franklin's got Bleakley and Francone in close company in that battle for a top 10 position. Francone, we know he's the leader of the championship, so look for him to try and make it into the top 10. And if he does, he could well make it into that battle group from 3rd to 8th. So there's a lot of positions on offer for Francone if you can figure out how to make an overtake at Sebring. Behind him, Andrew Hennessy and Pablo Hanna, they're by themselves. Hennessy's by himself. Hanna is well behind Hennessy, but he's got Kamari Baldwin, Goringe right behind him. Then you've got Fuge and Johnson, Butler, McGrath, and Amos are in that battle for the top 20 with Philip Butler and Scott Johnson. So Johnson's leading that pack. Then you've got a few drivers with fairly decent gaps behind them, so that's your last real battle pack, is that battle pack for 20th. We're currently watching battle pack for 11th. That's Chris Bickley. Looks like he got a little bit of tap from, well, it looked like he gave a little bit of a tap to Andrew Franklin ahead of him and then received a bit of a tap from James Francone. So I think it's fair to say perhaps Andrew Franklin not the fastest car out of these 3 despite being the leader of this 3, and that is Francone, championship leader, looking very aggressive behind Bleakley in his Ferrari. Not able to make an overtake there. So he'll sit behind him for a little bit longer in this race as Roger Baldwin pull out looking like he might make a move. Decides not to, and for good reason, because Bobby Camo's just gone wide, and then there's contact with Camo as it comes back on. So Camo went really deep. It's coming back through, and Baldwin tried to take advantage, not able to. A little bit of contact, and Camo holds onto the spot by the skin of his teeth and continues to hold on for now. Baldwin will be very disappointed he wasn't able to get the overtake done there, but I don't know if it was Oh no, Kimo was just a little bit too far ahead going into that corner. And Chris Bleakley dropping down the timing screen, so I think he's at an off in that battle with Francone and Franklin. So that promotes Francone into 11th position. So look what happened here. It's going to be contact between him and Francone. Franklin's ahead. Franklin's not involved in this. Yeah, there was contact, quite obviously. Bleakley just couldn't cross Francone. There, I'm just going to call out. I think that will go down as a racing incident because Francone was fine and Bleakley ended up off the track. It wasn't much. I think just misjudged. Cross and taking on the race line, and not able to need to leave a little bit more room on the outside there. Of course, some drivers will say that Francone should have lifted, but I don't think that's reasonable there. William Yarwood is in 5th place, and that's who we're watching right now. We're watching him because he's got Eduardo Samora and Andrew Neal right behind him. So Samora is the meat in this sandwich, with Yarwood and Neal acting as the bread. Be an interesting sandwich because you've got 2 different types of bread. A BMW at the front and a Porsche at the back. Certainly the Porsche is something a bit exciting. And the BMW a little bit more of a little more type of brand that you can see around, so that's probably your whole meal. And I think your Porsche is going to be your something funky, or your pumpkin and rye or something like that. Anyway, Eduardo Samora is in the middle. That's enough sandwich talk to make me hungry. Samora in the middle, having a very good race. He's up 2 positions, not as good a race as Andrew Neal, who's up 5 positions, and thinking to himself right now, you know what? I reckon I'll take some of that. That's what I'd be thinking if I was in the line half a second behind. He's got 3.6 seconds to Kurt Normanson. So he's got plenty of gap behind him, so he can afford to go a bit aggressive, try and get an overtake and make a mistake. He's not going to lose position unless it's a big mistake. As we watch Mark Bowman, who I think is about to make a mistake. Yeah, going for a little spin. Thankfully, does not get collected by Warren Ibbott behind him. And a very clever move there, just rolls the car into the grass to get out of people's way. And then continues on his merry way. As we now get to Hannah. Hannah has got Bobby Kimo, Baldwin and Green behind him. So we did see Kimo and Baldwin a little bit earlier with Baldwin. That ill-fated move on Kimo, it's not quite working out. Kimo went deep. Kimo's got Hannah ahead of him in the Merc. Looks the faster driver at the moment. If we can keep clean rest of the couple mistakes from Kimo already this race. And you can tell they're being aggressive. He's right in the slipstream of Mercedes. He's going to make a move at the end of this straight. Has a little bit of a look. There. Does go for a tighter line through though. It's very, very long. Right-hander with double apex. Keeps the tighter line. Is he going to have enough momentum to keep it? Or is Havana held it onto the around side? He's held on around the outside there, side by side. Next corner is left-hander. So Hannah will have the advantage being on the inside, but it is left-hander where you can hang out around the outside if you are very, very, very brave. No, it doesn't. In fact, Baldwin's going to go up the inside of Kimo, and Baldwin gets the move done, and Himo goes off the track. Himo's off, it makes a recovery, drops back behind Garinge, and doesn't lose any more spots. Did well, given how wide he went, to actually get back on track and not lose more positions, but has given another position to Baldwin. Just got too aggressive there, tried to carry too much speed for the right-hander, went off track and paid the price for it. But thankfully, not the ultimate price, and he continues in this race in 16th spot. But this battle pack getting bigger now, because that Kimo dropping back has actually brought Tim Fuge into this battle pack. Fuge didn't have the best races in the supercars, so looking to make amends for it in the GT3s. Up 1 spot so far, so having an okay race. Would definitely like more for it. Tim Fuge is a pretty handy race driver on his day. I think today's not quite been his day, but it's time for that to change because we do have the feature race after this. We won't be bringing you these guys for the feature race. We'll be cutting over to the pros. But I think we're going to have our fella these guys being with this race because it's been absolutely fantastic racing so far, and we're only 8 laps into this 11-lap race. And as we watch Liam Amos, he has got Liam Eels ahead of him, so this is a battle for the glory of being the top lead. It's a fantastic game, and these guys want to have that glory. At least I would if I was in that race. It's a silly little thing that I'd want to have, and they are close on track, so why not make it a battle? And it is a Lamborghini versus a Porsche. Not many Lamborghinis out there tonight. Lamborghini is the one of only 2 other Lamborghinis. Liam Eels, the biggest move at the moment, up 16 spots. So qualified all the way down to 56th, but he's up to 20th, and is the lead Liam right now in his blue and green Lamborghini. And now we're coming back to Andrew Franklin, who's got Francone behind him. Francone made it into the top 10. Can he make it deep into the top 10 by taking 9th spot? Franklin very defensive, inside line, takes it perfectly low. Francone, absolutely no chance of affecting an overtake there. And now we're going to watch on board from Francone as they take left-hander into the right. Give me another left now. Very, very tricky section of track this. And Franklin ahead, getting it just right. Francone certainly is this option. We're getting a little bit of extra lap time, but certainly not close enough to affect some moves. This is all going to be trying to gain on Franklin and then figure out where that Ferrari is stronger than Porsche and where it can affect an overtake in the next 2 or 3 laps. So he'll be watching that behaviour of that Porsche head quite closely right now, paying attention to where he closes in and where the car head pulls away, and logging that into the memory banks, because I think he'll back himself to have a bit more overall pace, given he's shown himself to be the fastest driver in this series so far. And now we come back to this battle for 14th place. So Baldwin's got ahead of Hannah. So not sure how that's happened, but Baldwin's now ahead of Hannah, and it is Gurinj and then Camo. And you watch Rd-3 go for another spin. It's not been his night. He'll hope for better in the feature race. Baldwin under a lot of pressure from Hannah. And then behind them, Camo going side by side with Gurinj. Gurinj on the inside of Camo for the left-hander, but then it's next to the right-hander. Camo's going to come back through. Is Camo got a hold on it? Yes, he's got a hold of the position. Oh, big dive from Gurinj on this contact. Gurinj goes for a spin. Oh, takes that Tim Fuge as well. That's unlucky for Fuge. Looked like he just about got past, but gets a bit of a tap from behind and is not able to hold on to the spin. So both of these drivers dropping back and drop out of the top 20. I think a little bit of an ambitious lunge from Gurinj. Knew it was a good... It wasn't a great opportunity to take. I think he is too far back, but I think he's just... Yeah, there is quite a wide line from Camo, so that might have caught him out as well. Maybe lulled him into thinking that there was more space there than he was, but... Yeah, not able to affect the overtake. Camo, thankfully, continues on, is not taken out by that, as we cut back to Francone, who has got ahead of Franklin. So we saw the beginnings of that battle a little bit earlier. Francone able to get ahead, continues his recovery from 14th to 5th, and will no longer be on pole position for the feature race because he's got past that. In fact, it'll be Franklin at the moment on pole position, but he's got Brian Bullock in this Castrol liveried McLaren desperate to get past, because this is a huge difference to your prospect in the feature race. He can get Franklin and get into 10th spot. He will start on pole for the feature race. If he stays where he is, he will start in 11th. So difference of, well, 11 positions, which is a huge difference in your finishing position. Let's call it 11 positions. That is a lot of points you're putting on the table. A lot of points for one position's difference in the sprint race. But this is why this format works so well, because not only do we have a beautiful battle to watch at the front if we are lucky, we always get a fantastic battle for the last spot in the top 10. The last spot that really matters. The last spot that means just maybe you can nick a win or a podium in the feature race if you drive a good defensive masterclass. And at the moment, it's Franklin who's going to have the opportunity, and Bullock who is going to miss out with only 2 laps to go in this sprint race. Behind them is Anna Hensey. He's up 4 spots in his red Beamer, and he's going to do everything he can to get up close and personal with these guys, but it's probably not going to have an opportunity. As we go on to the final lap of the race, this is Liam Amos. He is right behind Scott Jordison in 17th, Amos in 18th, so this is the battle for 17th place. Porsche versus Ferrari. At the moment it's Ferrari winning. Can the Porsche do something to change that? Sits in the slipstream, not close enough to make a move here. He's got a few opportunities in the final lap, none of them huge, obvious overtaking opportunities, but he can make it work quite a few corners around this track. And he's gone deep. Ferrari's gone deep. Lean almost takes the entire line. Not able to get past though. Is he going to be able to make a move into the left-hander? Scott Jordison going to hold on. He's going to hold on there. So Jordison, then Amos, 17th, 18th. In the battle for the top 10, Franklin's put out a second ahead of Bullock, so I think Franklin's got that wrapped up and will start the final race in pole position. We continue to watch Amos and Jordison doing battle. Jordison going wide there. He's going to hold on to the position, I believe, as we cut to Ben Colleen, because he well, we've barely seen him all race. We saw him earlier on. We mentioned his Homer Simpson livery, and then we never saw him again because he has been clinical out the front. He's not kept building the lead. He's never had a huge lead. It's stayed between 2 and 3 seconds, but it has been constantly between 2 and 3 seconds all out, which means no pressure for him. No big mistakes to bring us flying over to him, bringing that Porsche home in fantastic fashion to take what should be a victory. He's got Andrew Neil side by side with Eduardo Zamora, 6th place. Zamora looking like he's going to hold on. And Ben Clean coming up to the final corner. Awkward double apex right-hander. And he traverses it beautifully. Barney waves checker flag. And Ben Clean takes victory in the first race. Or 2 tonight. Chris McDonald finishes the second. And final spot on the podium goes to Colby Coham, who joins his teammate Ben Clean up there. Jack Rogers comes out in 4th, Yarwood in 5th. Zamora just holds off Neil for 6th place. Neil in 7th. Nomenson's going to be in 8th. Then it's going to be Francone who recovers from 14th to 9th. Franklin takes pole position for the feature race. Bullock in 11th. And then we'll go back to Scott Jordanson and Liam Amos. They're still doing battle as they go into the final corner. Jordanson takes a lovely line through there. Amos taking more speed though. He's going to make him go around the outside. Amos tries to carry more speed around the outside. He's going to get it done. It's a bit of a run to start finish straight, but no, not able to get it done. So Jordanson holds off Amos for 17th. Eels is in 19th. Robert McGrath rounds out the top 20. And there's still quite a few cars across the line. Someone in this server. Ibit in 21st. Madsen in 22nd. Then Fuge, Lavender, Gringe, Ragwani, and Varga, unless there's a late change for positions. Varga not having as good a time as he had in the supercars. Finished well deep inside the top 10. 4th in the supercars. Not quite as quick in the GT3. He's going to finish 27th in the end split. And Joe Baldwin's just joined us in the commentary box. Did you enjoy that race, Joe?
Oh, I'm buggered. I'm starting to see why Nick avoids it like the plague. That's fairly hard work, but quite rewarding. I think I jumped up from 21st to 13th in that one, and just, yeah, it's a matter of staying on the track. Guys are battling pretty hard early in the race, which was, I would have thought, get your rhythm going and then start racing, but yeah, guys were into it early, so I managed to pick up a couple of spots and, survived to the end. So, can't be too unhappy with that.
Really good race from your staff there in the end. Did we see a bit of contact with you earlier?
I'm not sure. I can't remember.
I feel like you're almost...
Yeah, couple of guys spun at sunset, and I went to go around behind him, and he never held his brakes and backed up, and I collected the right front as he was backing up the track. I can't remember who it was. To be honest, it was someone that, a couple of guys got together. Might have been Liam Miles, I think, actually had spun there, and just didn't hold the brakes, and I sort of clipped him going around the back and lost a couple of spots, but no harm, no foul. The car got to the end. I'd never had a meatball or anything. So, it's all part of racing.
Yeah, any indication of any damage?
No damage. No. It didn't seem to slow me down, so... the two guys I was racing with when it happened, Pablo Hammer and Bobby Camoa. I don't know how you say Bobby's last name, to be honest, but I was behind them when that happened, and we had a great race there for about 5 or 6 laps, and I didn't actually think I was going to get by them, but they started battling hard into turn 1, and I sort of pounced, and Bobby, I think, might have ran wide, and then Pablo made a mistake later on in the same lap, and I managed to jump the two guys and just, he gave me a bit of a hurry up there, but I managed to pull away once Bobby started hassling him. I think he was doing his best to defend his position, worrying about getting by me.
Yeah, we did follow that battle for a while, but we ended up missing the overtake, sadly, in the end. So definitely watch this one back, because you get a little bit of airtime, mate.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with a bit of airtime. We all love that. That's some of the guys love doing it, getting on there, and they can go and show their family what it's all about. And that's always it's always good for the club, and when people can show their friends and family, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's always good fun. Definitely always good fun.
All right, guys, we're about to grid up, so good luck for the call in the pro race, and we might catch you afterwards.
Yeah, good luck, mate. Good luck. Hopefully you have a good one.
No worries. Thanks, Liam.
All right. In the meantime, we're going to cut over to the pro split for their feature race. Right, welcome back everybody. We've just had our short break to switch on over to the pro servers. We continue on at Sebring. We'll be bringing you the 25-minute feature race for the GT3 Pro Split, which is obviously the main one because it's pros. We're gonna see. I expect we'll see a little bit less cars than we saw in the amateur splits. The pros, they really do know how to handle these cars. They are some of the quickest drivers in Australia, not just the GSRC. And I apologise, it'll be 24 laps, not 25 minutes, so it'll be longer than 25 minutes, given it's 24 laps. And it's going to be a lot warmer than it was for the sprint race. 28 degrees with 56% humidity, which is an interesting humidity level, significantly darker than it was for the sprint race as well. And I say that and it's just, has it changed over? No, it's just got a lot lighter for some reason. But yeah, 27 degrees, 8 kilometers an hour wind, so wind's not going to be an issue for anybody, I can't imagine. And 42 degrees air temp. So absolutely blisteringly hot in Sebring at this time of the year. And what that means is we're going to see that track temperature rise throughout the race. Which means the grip's going to start to go away, which could make it interesting in the closing stages. This is your championship standings, and aren't we being treated so far this season? 4 points behind Dench and his teammate Nicholson. Nicholson only not someone that usually gets to do a full season, but fingers crossed this time he's going to be able to, because he will turn this into a real championship fight for Dench. Could the winning streak come to an end this season? You're going to have to keep tuning in to find out. Richard Mitchum ably backing them up in third place, 113. That is someone who we've seen nick the occasional win. Jared Knight also incredibly quick in his HTS Ferrari on 104 points in fourth. Then Thomas Foster in fifth, Aaron Cooper in sixth, Fred Khan in seventh, Collins in eighth, Paul Wood in ninth, and John Hoover in 10th. And this is how they finished the first race. Quali? This is how they finished quali. Alright. So, Simon Nixon in first, Matty Dench second, half a second between them. Absolutely blistering pace from Nicholson. Richard Mitchum in third, Woods in fourth, Ellis fifth, Knight sixth, Wood seventh, Hayne eighth, Oscar Haynes ninth, and Samuel in 10th. And then, this is the sprint race results, very similar to the qualifying results, which is why I got caught out for a second, because I've seen his results already. We had Simon Nicholson win the race by 0.2 of a second ahead of Manny Dench. I hope we see those two going wheel to wheel in the feature race. Then Richard Mitchum 9 seconds further back in third, Jared Knight half a second behind him in fourth, Stuart Ellis in fifth, Oscar Haynes in sixth, Collins in seventh, Sagasa in eighth, Wood ninth, and David Johnson sneaks into the top 10 and gets himself the reverse grid pole. And the pole for the rest you're about to see. David Benes in 11th, then Fred Khan, and here is the grid, just to confirm that for you. David Johnson on pole position with Nick Wood alongside him on the front row. Then it's Sagasa and Collins in the second row, Haynes and Ellis in the third, Knight and Mitchell in the fourth, Denchi and Nicholson, the big boys of the championship, 9th and 10th on the fifth row. Behind them is Benes and Khan, then it's Woods and Wong in 13th and 14th, Jackson and Foster in 15th and 16th, Wooden and Edwards in 17th and 18th, and then King and Hayne in 19th and 20th. Behind them is Birchnell and Anastakis. Then we've got Dickerson and Humphreys, Chiplin and Oliver, Wood and Gallagher, and then Proctor and Matt Smitke in 30th. Brooks in 31st, and Adams 32nd, Sharp in 33rd, Burhop 34th, then it's Baz and Christensen, Benici and Piper in 37th, 38th, then Provenzali and Ruddell in 39th and 40th, 41, Heaney and then Takaloo, Snadden and then Arnott, Hooper and then Morder, Muir and then Hazard, and then Kurt Chapman in 49th position. There's going to be some hot computers trying to keep up with that lot tonight. 49 cars in one server. This is absolutely ridiculous. We're going to see some action here. And top 20 means you finished well in the top half of the grid, and they fan out 4 wide on the start-finish straight. Absolutely determined to make what I say a reality. Cars diving all over the place, and that's a big move around the outside. Johnson holds on. Oscar Haynes already up into second from 5th spot. Nick Wood down 2, Collins down 1, Knight up 1, Denchi up 1, Mitchum up 1. And that's Haynes go down the inside to get into second. Sagasa go down the inside of Haynes to get into second position, and does so cleanly. Dickerson dropping down the order a little bit further down the pack. I think it's the timing scale actually struggling to keep track of what's going on here. But names coming all over the place, and then going back to where they originally started. So going to ignore it for a little while. Johnson's in first, Sagasa in second. For now, look at them all side by side, basically the whole pack side by side. Barely is a car without another car alongside it, and there are 49 cars in that shot. Field spread's going to be absolutely tremendous around here, and you know what this means? You're going to have blue flag issues as the leaders catch up to the slower cars, because just for the field spread, it's going to be about half the bleeding racetrack within 2 or 3 laps, as we watch Jared Knight getting mugged there by Oscar Haynes. Brilliant move down the inside in his black Ferrari. Jared passing Nick, apologies. So the other way around. Jared Knight getting past Nick Wood. So Oscar Haynes was already a little bit ahead of them, and Knight getting past Nick Wood in his Ferrari, Nick Wood in the Audi. And Nick Wood trying to come back past Knight. Gets it done on the inside. Does he? Yes, and there's contact there. That's Denchi. Denchi going for a spin. Has he had contact with his teammate? They were next to each other on track. His teammate has continued. So Nicholson, the last piece we said for the runner not to have gone for a spin. Oh, it looks like it was contact with the... what livery is that? That is the... what's happened next? Denchi goes up the inside.
David Johnson,
thank you. So Denchi goes up the inside, and there's the smallest bit of contact. One of those... someone else spinning in the background. One of those spins where the amount of contact does not warrant that sort of result. But so it is Matt Dench, and he's going to have a really hard time to get back into the top 10.
You get a little bit of netcode in that where the car's got interlocked, yes. And it's just sent Denchi for a ride.
And Denchi recovering, falling down to 21st. So he lost about 10 spots there. And it's going to be really hard for him to get to the podium from there. But let's see what Denji can do in this 18-lap feature race. A little bit of contact there between Woods and John Jackson. We've had enough contact, boys. Let's keep it clean. We're footing on cars. Really fighting gravity there, aren't I? Asking for them to keep it clean. This is Chuck from Wong in the green BMW with the sleeping turtle on the side. I love that. That's absolutely excellent. And he's got Thomas Foster ahead of him, and Ben Woods right behind him. Woods, a really quick driver in his Audi. And Chuck from Wong very quick as well. All these drivers are very, very quick. This is the pro split in the top championship that we have, the most tennis championship that we have in the GSRC, and they are running just on the fringes of the top 10 over. It's got to be 90 cars. We've got to hit 90 cars tonight. Close. High 80s. And they are running the top 10, which just tells you how good they are. Yeah, everything's settling down a little bit now. Cars going more and more into single file. Seeing less and less than side by side. And the field spread right now is about from Tower down to halfway down the Ulman Straight. Which just shows you how many cars are on track. As we watch Nick Ward, he's got Simon Nicholson behind him. Nicholson, Team PGZ, won the sprint race. He's already up into 6th. Can he turn it into 5th? Nick Wood carries so much speed on the outside there. Gets as close to the wall as he dares, but it's paid off because he has held off Simon Nicholson for at least one more corner. And Nicholson going a little bit more towards the inside at turn 1, not able to get position though. As we cut to Andrew Hazard, he's going to make a mistake here, judging by the fact that this is a replay by himself. Yeah, Ferrari getting the settle on the entry. Back end, you see it hopping around, and it just slings him into the barrier. That'll be the end of his feature race, I imagine. Yeah, that car is not going anywhere in a hurry. And there's been a change for the lead. Brendan Sagassa looks to have got past David Johnson whilst we were watching the replay. We're going to cut to Richard King. He tries to fit back in, so he's on the outside. He's trying to feed into the single lane, not able to do so. Just misjudges the gap, gets a little bit of contact from behind, and goes for a spin. As we watch Sagassa, this is a move probably the most that occurred. So
the moment said that would have been actually Ash Collins and Denchi, because obviously David's winning the race.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Sagassa, lovely move there, does go a bit deep, but not enough to put the position in jeopardy, and takes the lead for now. This is Jake Humphries.
I just got pinched in the apex there.
Yeah, happens. And has to wait. This is the thing, when all the cars are so close and you crash early on in the race, you have to wait so long to get back. And that's a huge side swipe there. Bounces back into half of the cars, takes out one car. There's Max Mitke. Ozzy, nothing he could have done about that. He got sent into the wall. And I think we're about to see this from Sean Bonici's view. Yes, in Bonici's view, who's the car that got connected by Smitke. Not much Bonici could have done there. I would have to have gone onto the grass to try and avoid it, and probably would have put back into a crash anyway. So,
yeah, that's just unlucky.
Really bad luck there. Yeah, really bad luck. A bit of a gap now forming between the top 3 and David Johnson, who's doing a fantastic job holding Nicholson behind him. And these guys will be hoping that he can continue to do that job, because Nicholson has proven already to be the fastest driver around this track, taking pole by half a second in qualifying earlier on tonight, whilst we were busy watching the Super 2s. Jaron Knight, the fastest guy so far in this race though. He's done a 2:08, one of only 2 drivers to go into the 2-minute flats, the other one being, you guessed it, Simon Nicholson, who's just put himself up behind Jaron Knight by overtaking David Johnson. So it is 90 in 3rd place, Nicholson in 4th place, and Knight right now, if he wasn't already thinking I need to get past Haynes and Sagassa, would definitely be thinking it right now, because he's now got Simon Nicholson behind him, and he knows if he wants to win this race, best bet is to put as many cars between him and Nicholson as he can, as early as he can. 15 laps to go, and but the clock is ticking as far as his race winning aspirations are concerned. As Sagassa goes a little bit wide at the corner, it's not going to hurt him too much though. He's able to keep the front of pin without losing the car, despite the dirt on the outside of that corner. and blinking a little bit as well, which is not fun. If you are behind a car that is blinking ahead of you, it is difficult. For those who are not familiar with the term, blinking is just something that happens in our racing sometimes when the connection of the car isn't great, and they basically blink in and out of existence. And you can imagine trying to race a car where you don't know where it is because it's just effectively turned invisible. It's not fun. But Haynes is going to go for the move. He's going down the inside into the final corner, into Sunset. Has he got it done? It drifts out wide. We've seen that move before. Out wide is a fast line, and it does give the inside for corner 1. Jared Knight's going to try and follow with Jared Knight going around the outside. Then he ducks to the inside. So Gaston's going to get 2 for 1. 2 into the first corner. Does he get it done? He does. He's going to hold on. He's going to dirt. No, he holds on. Sagasa ahead of Knight, ahead of Haynes, and now Nicholson trying to get ahead of Haynes as well. He's going to get it done into the inside, but Haynes has still got the inside line for the next corner. And now Haynes has to tuck in behind Nicholson. So Haynes, after making a move at the final corner to try and get to first place, by corner 5 is relegated to 4th behind Knight, behind Nicholson. Sagasa still holds the lead. And Haynes looking to get back past Nicholson. Nicholson goes on the defensive, pulls out to the inside nice and early, and holds her off. So Sagasa, Knight, Nicholson, Haynes, Johnson, and then Richard Mitchum. Watch out for Richard Mitchum. Only a couple of cars behind. If he can get past Johnson and Haynes, Mitchum could also be a factor. He is another one of those drivers we have seen take the occasional win in the GT3s, even without a huge junction mistake, which has usually been the condition for a driver getting a win unless your name is Simon Nicholson. As we watch Jared Knight right now, still in second place. Simon Nicholson looking dangerous behind the distinctively liveried Audi black and gold PGZ livery, something that hasn't changed across my seasons covering GT3s at the GSRC. So should be instantly recognisable for most of the viewers if you have been with us before. If you're relatively new to GSRC, welcome, absolutely lovely to have you with us. I hope you're enjoying your Monday night motorsport. If you are, please do get in contact with us through the comments and get involved in the race chat. As we watch absolutely blistering pace set by these top guys getting into 2 minutes, and that's the move. Simon Nicholson goes down the inside of Jared Knight. Oh, Jared Knight's trying to hold it on around the outside though, trying to carry more speed through the corner whilst Nicholson holds that tighter inside line. You can see that inside line is bumpy as well. You can see Nicholson's Audi really going up and down as he tries to hold on through the bumps. And now it's going to have the inside of corner 1. Can he hold on, or do you want to be on the outside? Oh, Nicholson, absolutely perfect millimetres. Less than a millimetre for getting onto the dirt and potentially sending his Audi into a spin. Instead he holds on, and Jared Knight holds on the attack from Haynes. Haynes put it inside, but never really like getting past. So it is now Sagasa, Nicholson, Knight, and that is ominous. Absolutely ominous. Nicholson first in the first race. Currently second in this race. He's got 1 more car before he hits the lead. If he hits the lead, you gotta imagine he's gonna try and check out.
Zach could be kicking himself here because one of his pet peeves with some of these races is normally the battle's a bit further back in the pack and it's not usually a battle for the lead. We've got a great battle for the lead tonight in this race, so it's going great guns.
Yeah, and you mentioned battles further back in the pack. Just catch up on Dench o'clock. Dench is in 16th, so he's recovered from 20th to 16th position. And he is 2.2 seconds behind Adam Hayne. I don't think he's going to be 2.2 seconds behind for long unless he has got damage. And in fact, his lap time has absolutely plummeted now. He's got a bit of clean air, doing a 2-minute 1 dead, which is comparable to the leaders of the race. It'll be interesting to see how much further progress he can make in this race.
It's going to be frustrating for Simon, the blinky billness of Braden there.
Yeah, it's going to help Braden because it's going to put doubt in the mind of the car behind. I can't imagine Nicholson's going to go for that bold move around Sunset Bend.
And Simon's just come on the radio.
Yeah, calling it in. But when the blinking is bad, we have asked previously which drivers to remove themselves from the servo. I don't think they'll do that given he's in the lead of the race. And, oh, is that Haynes trying to get alongside Knight? No, not quite. So we approach the first corner. Tell you what, Sagasa's doing a brilliant job, isn't he? He's got 90 behind him. He's got Nicholson behind him.
Oh, who's that?
Oh, that's a huge crash for Stuart Ellis. just losing the back end on entry into corner 1 and hitting the wall very, very, very hard. And he's going to drop outside the top 20 easily with the fact of him pulling over to the top. See what happened here. He just carried too much speed.
Did a little twitch.
Oh, yeah. Twitch halfway through. Unable to catch it. Wasn't as fast a hit in the end. Plenty of tarmac going off there to scrub off some of the speed. But still plenty hard enough to pit lane. And this is not the Endurance Championship, so there will not be a safety car in effect due to the tow. And this is going to be a move for the lead. This is going to move for the lead of the race. Sagasa under the most pressure he's ever been under in this race. Nicholson trying to hang on around the outside, and he feeds him to the dirt to Sagasa. And Nicholson has to back out. Good heads-up driver from Nicholson, but I don't think he was very happy with that. Blinking his light at Sagasa. That is something we have seen working its way into motorsport culture. That pushing the car off on the outside if they're not fully alongside. It's something that's been codified in F1, but we still don't like it in most forms of motorsport. And I can tell you, the GSRC rules of engagement do not like that, so it'll be interesting to see if John has anything to say on it. For us, you have to give racing room, and Nicholson was definitely allowed racing room there, so I'll be interested to see what race control will make of it. But from my reading of the rules, I think Sagasa might be in a little bit of trouble. He does not give up this position sometime soon, but he may not have much of a say of it because Nicholson's carried great pace through there. It's not going to be enough to get him ahead though, is it? Pulls into the slipstream. No, not enough to get him ahead. And I think Sagasa will be safe into corner 1. Yeah, certainly is. Nicholson did offset his line just in case he was able to get up the inside, but not able to. In fact, it cost him a fair bit of speed, and it's got Jared Knight right up his tail now. But the threat diminishes, and Sagasa blinks again. Tell you what, Nicholson's heart rate will be absolutely pounding. Not only has he had that really hard defence from Sagasa, which he was definitely unhappy with, he's also got Sagasa blinking ahead of him, making it particularly harder as Haynes goes for an ambitious move down the inside. Absolutely beautifully done from Haynes. Absolutely superb. Did not see that coming. Just pulls out at the last second alongside Jared Knight. Absolutely steals the position from him. And with that, gets into the podium positions with 11 laps to go. And remember, we are going to have potentially a fuel stop.
And also, if the server plays full, I believe I've got this set to sunset.
So we're going to have some beautiful imagery at the end of this race. Denchi up to 14th place now ahead of Woody. So he's continuing his progress towards the top 10. Good to see if Denchi goes long or to try and use some of his extra pace. And Nicholson goes down the inside. Really strong move. Oh, a little bit of contact there. Contact as Sagasa comes back onto the racetrack. Sagasa had gone a little bit wide. And that's Oscar Haynes. Oscar Haynes on the outside. Is he going to come from third to take the lead on the foot back straight? It's going into the final corner. Got the outside line, and you can make the move stick there. You can carry enough speed to give you the inside into turn 1. Is Haynes able to do it though? No, not able to do it. And Sagasa takes back the lead, but is Haynes now in second? He certainly is right now. And he cuts it, chops across the front of Nicholson. Almost made contact going into corner 1. Nicholson's got the inside. Gets the position back on Haynes. Haynes go for the up and under. Almost makes contact mid-corner. Oh, he does! He makes contact on the exit. And that's Nicholson going for a spin. The second PGZ car to go for a spin. And he doesn't whack on his brake.
He did.
He reversed into the wall.
He had him on, but with the ABS and these things, it doesn't lock him up. It's one of the frustrating things with GT3s.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right, Adam. Sorry.
You can see the brake lines on the whole time there, but it just wouldn't pull up.
And so Nicholson now behind his teammate. Matty Dench, now the lead PGZ driver in this race in 12th position. Simon Nicholson plumets to 14th. I think race control are in for a busy night. A few instances at the front of this field, and Sagasa, against all odds, holds on. So let's see how this started. So Sagasa and Nicholson I think Nicholson had to get out of the throttle with the contact from Sagasa, and that's what arrested his momentum so much. Sagasa's momentum was poor because of going off the track. That allowed Haynes to get up along the outside. Nicholson parks it on the racing line. It gets a little bit of a shove from Oscar Haynes and then goes into the wall. I would not be surprised if there was maybe a tad of net code in there. I don't want to let Haynes off the hook if there wasn't net code, but he did seem to not hit mid-corner.
I think it was the initial tap. There was a couple of little taps like fused throughout.
Yeah.
And I think like got Nicholson up settled, which means he had to lift, which then caused more sort of like a snowball effect. Yeah,
that would explain it. That would explain it.
But also, there's also a little bit on Haynes there because like he would have known. I'm not sure if he got out of the throttle. I think he just kept in it, which is probably not ideal. But it's hard to tell without the telemetry. But race control will have a look at it and see if they can hear the engine noises and try and come up with a decision.
Yeah, they're saying, well, hard one, George. It's one of those things as well, because you'd expect to be full throttle there. So it's, you have to really keep your wits back and keep alive to what the car header's doing, because we've seen Matty Dench coming in for what is a scheduled pit stop, unless it's been an instant like this, but it doesn't look any more banged up than it did before. And I think, is that his teammate in pit?
Yeah, Nicholson's lane,
yeah, I think Nicholson is in pit lane and has been for a while.
Yeah, and there's no fast repairs in the sprint races here for those pro guys.
Yeah, so he's decided. Go on.
So yeah, if he's damages too much, he might be in trouble there, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, so he's definitely decided that his best bet for the best result is to get pitted, get the damage fixed, and get back out there, or he might just parked up for the night.
Well, you might have had another incident actually.
Oh, let's see what's happened here.
Yeah, he's locked 3 years. Oh, he's got rear suspension damage.
Yeah.
You can just see that that left rear was a little bit toe out.
Just slowly reversing, like, oh, that car's getting a little bit close. Yeah, so he's got damage, just made the car hard to control. He's trying to persevere with it, gone for another spin, and decided, nah, I can't do this. Time to go to pit lane, get it fixed. It's suspension damage, which will be a huge repair time, and I think that may be him out of the race. Simon from Team GZ saying that was disgusting. We'll have to wait and see if race control agree with you on that one. Certainly, we'd never like to see contact at the front of the field.
It's very, very disappointing because it was really good racing up to that point too. Yeah. So very disappointing for Simon. But see how we can
go. And claiming that it was full throttle to the back. We'll hold off and confirm that until we see the telemetry ourselves. But that's what Simon from PGZ is saying.
He would have checked his. He would have. The first thing Simon would have done was look at his own replay. So
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so we've got Jared there trying to do the undercut here. The question is, with mid-40s, 45 cars in the field, how much traffic is that going to put him into? Is the undercut the optimal, or is it the suboptimal strategy with the current field? It looks like he might be all right. There's sort of, he's coming out in the lane now. There's a couple of cars coming in the lane, including Denchi. And Denchi's got clear track, so actually, I think he's done all right here.
Yeah, he's got 5 seconds clear lap and 5 seconds clear time. Now, that's perfectly fine.
Is
not much.
No, that's to go. Denchi's he's probably been saving fuel back there in the pit stops. As you can see, his stop was a second and a half faster than Jarrett's, and his transit time was almost 2 seconds faster, as Denchi likes to try and save some time in the pit. So he's saved a bit of time. Now it's just a matter of whether he can, whether that damage is slowing him down, or whether he can get back into that lead battle once the pit phases sorts itself out.
Well, what I'm thinking is he's 5 seconds behind, and Jared Knight was in the battle for the victory.
Lead.
He was right alongside Sagasa, right?
But if you look at
Denchi's in this for a podium.
But if you look at the field, though, 10 seconds is the covering top 10. So there's still going to be some potential cars between him and the leaders when these guys filter through. Because you can see that he'd be basically back where I believe it's Ash Collins or Adam Hayne in the back of this group is the gap. So there is a lot of cars in that 5 second window.
There are. So these are really, really important laps for all of these cars. And as Sagasa into the pits, goes into pits quite late and almost cuts off Oscar Haynes. I don't think Oscar Haynes would be impressed with that. I don't think there's going to be a lot of drivers impressed with Sagasa's racing conduct so far in this race. But I don't think... Yeah, Control has to say about that. So 15 seconds penalty, is that for...
It'll be Haynes.
Haynes?
Yeah, Oscar Haynes would have got 15 second penalty, I'm assuming. But it'd be post-race, because iRacing still haven't given us the ability to add these to the stops yet.
Yeah, no. If you're listening, iRacing, please.
Jared, though. Jared's got them all.
He's certainly... Where has that come from? Right, so... Richard Mitchum is in the lead of this race. He hasn't pitted. Jared Knight has pitted, and he has overcut Oscar Haynes and Sagasa. Sagasa is in 7th, so it's currently Knight, Sagasa, Haynes, Johnson, Dench. So there is one car between Denchy and the lead battle. Jared Knight in pole position in the lead battle. 6 seconds behind Daniel Piper. So he's got a little bit of a clean air to drive into before he starts getting held up by slower cars. I can't imagine Mitchum, Wood, Jackson, Birchnell and Piper have got much more fuel in the tank, given that the likes of Denchy, Oscar, Sagasa have already pitted. So I expect to see them in this lap or the next, which will then cleanse the field. But we have got a proper race on here for the victory tonight. And your protagonists are Knight, Sagasa, Haynes, Johnson, and Denchy.
And we've also got the 2 twitchy foot cars going to come back into this too, because they've done an extra lap, and they were in this fight as well. So they may actually get a fast stop here and come out of front again if they've played their cards right.
This is absolutely mouth-watering. Can you hurry up and pit so that we can get straight fight to the end? Thank you very much.
They're in there.
And they have heeded my call almost immediately. Mitchum, Wood, Jackson and Pitts. Do not be surprised if Birchnell and Piper join them. We just wait for them to get to pit lane and find out if they do or not. As we watch Oscar Haynes
it'll be critical lap, so they'll be in.
The other interesting thing to call out is there is a gap between Sagasa and Knight, and it is growing. It was 1.5 seconds, it's almost 2 seconds now. So Knight proving that he does have more pace than Sagasa, and we saw how robust Sagasa's defence was earlier on in this race. And you can see him coming down the start-finish straight. You can see Jared Knight coming down the start-finish straight. Where is Richard Mitchum going to come out? Richard Mitchum's going to come out in 2nd place here. Just going to cut across ahead of Braden Sagasa, fairly comfortable in the end, just about a second. So it's Knight, then Mitchum, then Sagasa, then Haynes, then Wood, then Denchy. So Wood cutting out ahead of Denchy. How important could that be for this race with 6 laps to go? It is difficult to overtake around here. It can be done. And we have seen nobody is in the mood to give him a position here tonight.
Yeah, that strategy's worked wonders for the twitchy foot guys. They've done well there.
Yeah, they really have. It's been played to absolute perfection. They've also been pretty quick through the pit lane, I believe. So Richard Mitchum, only stopped for 10.9 seconds. Nick Wood, 11.3 compared to, say, 12.8 for Oscar Haynes. So that's definitely playing a role in this as well. So perhaps a little bit of fuel saving from those guys, whilst they're at a slightly slower pace compared to the leaders. And the leaders, of course, wasting fuel, doing really hard battle, mostly with this guy Haynes being the most aggressive, pulling off a beautiful overtake earlier on before ploughing into the back of the PGZs.
It's quick, like there's battles all through the field here. Even like back, this is the battle pack for the final points in the race.
Yeah. Peter said Nickerson, sorry to finish my thought there, just got distracted. Reese Dickerson here for Side Hustle Racing. He's got his teammate ahead of him, which is Alan Chipman. I do apologise to any drivers further down the field that are watching this race. I'm sure you can understand to follow the racing at the front, because we don't really get about at the front.
We missed the story at some point because poor old Chuck's back in 33rd, so...
Oh dear.
Not sure what's happened there, but something's happened to Chuck's in the race we've missed.
Yeah, he's down 19 spots, singing his praises, running on the fringes of the top 10, and now he's 33rd. I mean, they say that. 33rd is still approaching halfway up the field. It's absolutely insane. We're now cut on board with Matty Dench on the attack, trying to get past Nick Wood. I'm sure he's got his teammates Nicholson cheering for him now that Nicholson is out of the running. Although, yeah, and 4 laps down, so he's not continued on in this race. And there's been commentating on the stream. Thank you very much for watching and providing us some information as you do so. Adam, you're dense, you're quick, you want to overtake Nick Wood. What corner are you looking at to get it done?
There's a few options, but it's a matter of getting Nick to have a slow run out of a corner, because the G3s, like, although the guys do have pace of each other, they're still relatively even, and the slipstream isn't as strong as you'd like to get the moves done. So you really need to force to go in front into some sort of a slight mistake, or just get a slightly bad exit and maximise your exit to then capitalise the next corner. So he'll be looking any time that Nick has a little bobble or misses an apex, that'll light Deji's eyes up, and he'll be looking.
Yeah, I bet Matty Deji's got the fire in his soul after his unfortunate incident earlier on, and then he will have heard about his teammate getting bumped off. So he will be absolutely desperate, in particular, I imagine, to get ahead of Oscar Haynes, who will be enemy number 1 for Team PGZ right now. But first, he's got to dispatch Nick Wood, who's... Whoa, that was huge from Ben Woods. Absolutely sent flying there for Twitchy Foot Racing. Let's have a look what's happened here. Is it by himself? Surely not. So he's gone for a late dive.
He's just overshot that in dash. Just run one, yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't nearly as dramatic as it looked when I saw him just flash across the screen at the back of the shot. You know, there's a bit of camera trickery playing on there. And that's Ben Woods falling behind another car. He's going to try and hold on around the outside. If he does, absolutely brilliant.
Oh, no.
Michael Edwards, no. So he does hold on. Michael Edwards not able to get the position. And cut back to Nick Wood, who is now behind Matty Dent. Matty Dent is up into 5th place, and Oscar Haynes is ahead of him. So that's how he's done that. Inside of turn 1, Wood going a little bit wide, not too much. Just giving Denchi the inside line here. Gets the move done, yeah. Brilliant. Like you said, Adam, just can't get him compromised. Don't compromise at turn 1. And then catches in at turn 2.
What's annoying? So there's something that iRacing have done during the transition phase that's causing very high CPU or something. So we now we've got some glitchiness for the next 5 minutes. That's frustrating.
Yep, so apologies for this. We did see this, actually we saw hints of this in the sprint race as well. I made mention of it.
No, it wasn't just sprint. We had it last week at Le Mans at the same point where the sun was going down. So something between the light transition is really, they've not optimised it somehow.
Yep, and with so many cars in server, we're running the CPUs properly hard already. As we watch Oscar Haynes, he's got Sagasa ahead of him, who is the Minister for Defence in this race, and Matty Dench behind him, who has proven himself to be the Minister of Attack because he's come from 17th all the way back up to 5th place. I'm very nervous if I'm Oscar Haynes with 4 laps to go. I don't like my chances of finishing 4th, and I have no idea what position it could be, and Matty Dench actually already takes 4th place from him. No wasting, no messing, gets alongside him on the back straight, and gets the move done into Sunset Bend. And now, Dench has got Sagasa next. Sagasa put up that robust defence on his teammate earlier on, whilst we watch Richard Mitchum challenging Jaron Knight for the lead of this race. With 3 laps to go, it is on like Donkey Kong. Particularly if these two guys start fighting and slowing each other down, you can imagine Sagasa and Dench pulling themselves into this fight for the lead. 3 laps to go around Sebring. The sun is setting. The end of this race is nigh. And who is going to have the sun gleaming behind them as they stand on the top 7 of the podium? We do not know at this point. There are many names who it could be. Knight is in the best position. Mitchum is in the 2nd best position. But is something going to change here? Can Mitchum get past and get a rare GT3 victory from Singapore?
I've seen quite often, and Richard is usually one of the ones that likes to capitalise when the PGZ guys have a bit of a moment. So, but can Jared hold on? Because I think Jared would be keen for a win. I'm not sure when the last time Jared had a good win, so he'll be very keen for one.
Yeah, Jared Knight, so often the bridesmaid is so often fighting for third place. He's so often one of the quickest, but not quite the quickest, despite being a very accomplished racer and does very well in the Enduro Championship, I must say. Richard Mitchum, like you said, joins us from Singapore. He can't make every race, usually makes about 5 races a season, something like that, and is always a factor when he does. Again, usually not quite winning unless something happens to Denchi or the other PGZ boys when they do join us. And Denchi at the moment trying to get past Sagasa, who we've seen blinking in and out of existence. We've seen him defending harshly, and he's going to go around the outside as he tries to carry enough speed. He's not quite going to do it. Sagasa drifts out wide, well ahead of him. Is he going to try and do what he did to Nick Wood and try and get along the inside at turn 1 and force him wide for turn 2? No, not able to get close enough, so Sagasa's got to hold on for another lap, and I think this removes Denji from victory contention, I'm going to say nervously, as we watch Foster going side by side with Jack Johnson and Ashley Collins further back, so he was side by side with Jake Jackson. Not Jack Johnson, that's the singer, Jake Jackson. And it's Ashley Collins behind them. And this is the fringes of the top 10, so this is 8th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. And as we watch Matty Dench trying to get around the outside of Sagasa, he's momentarily ahead. For the corner. Oh, he gets bumped off. Again, given no space, but he continues on with the racing, saying, you go hard at me, I'm going to go hard back at you and keep my foot in it. And he's got the inside for this corner. Is he going to show him the outside? I think that's what I would do in this position. And Sagasa's going to have the inside line for the hairpin. That's definitely where you want to be. He's going to try and hold on for the outside. He does, and he's given room this time, and he gets the move done, does he? Sagasa tries to hold on around the outside. No, has to sit in behind him all the time. You've got Oscar Haynes keeping a watching brief behind these guys, and Matty Dench holds, well, gets the move done and gets onto the podium spots with 2 laps to go. 2.7 seconds behind Richard Mitchum. I think goal for Dench just keeps Sagasa behind. Sagasa goes to the inside. Not able to get it done, and the next corner is not conducive to Sagasa trying to get the move done there.
And Race Control was, I think Race Control was watching live there and gave Braden a warning for racing room on the spot.
Yeah, I think that's a good move from Race Control, and thank you very much to Race Control, who I'm sure have been kept very, very busy tonight with such an active server and so much good, solid racing going on, and some stuff going a little bit over the line, I'm sure Race Control would say. Matty Dench taking a little bit of a defensive inside line. Sagasa going out really wide to try and get a really good run. He gets really good pace, but has he been able to keep the momentum? Well, he's had to check up a little bit behind Dench. I think he's had to check up a little bit behind Dench. And Denchy saying, you're not coming up my inside, buddy, and staying right next to that wall and trying to force Sagasa to go around the outside to get the up and under. He does get the up and under. And side by side, he's going to have the inside for the next corner. Sagasa done the unthinkable and got a move done on Dench. So close to contact mid-corner. Dench tries to hold it on around the outside. It's still there. He's still there. It's so close to contact. And Denchi holds on to 3rd spot for now. Sagasa's still on the outside. Is he going to sit in behind him? Oscar Haynes looking to get involved. He's going left, right, trying to find a gap to fit inside. He's going to try and sit in behind Dench. And there's contact! And that's another PGZ car going for spin. That's Denchi's 2nd spin in this race. Contact with Braden Sagasa and gets back on the final lap of the race. He's knocked out of the podium positions, and Oscar Haynes is going to find himself on the podium because in that Sagasa also dropped down to 4th. He's now side by side with Nick Wood for 4th position. Is Nick Wood going to get past him? And they're chopping and changing positions every corner. Sagasa's got the advantage for now. Nick Wood sits in behind him. Not many overtaking opportunities left in this race. Jared Knight's got Richard Mitchum 0.3 of a second behind them as they come to the penultimate corner of this racetrack. And one of only 2 more overtaking opportunities. Nick Wood is right behind Sagasa, and we're cutting to that battle for the lead now. This could be a last lap overtake for the lead. I'm sure Mitchum's going to do everything he can, but I'm sure also he's going to keep it clean. He's seen some of the chaos and will not want a bar of that for himself. Jared Knight is in the lead. Can he get that rarest of GT3 victories? It looks like he's going to do it. Takes a somewhat defensive line, but not overly into the final corner. Gets a good exit. And it is Jared Knight who takes the victory in the feature race here at Sebring. Richard Mitchum in 2nd, Oscar Haynes in 3rd, Sagasa in 4th, Nick Wood in 5th, David Johnson in 6th, Jack Johnson in 7th.
I think Foster had a moment at the last corner. I think it was. Yeah, they just got him.
Foster had a moment at the last corner. Is my timing screen not updated?
Oh, sorry, it's Fred Kahn. It was Fred Kahn. My bad.
Oh, it's Fred Kahn. Okay. We will. I dare say there's going to be some movement in the top 10. Perhaps with some penalties for some of the driving that we saw late in this race. Race control. Good luck getting sleep tonight because it doesn't want to. By the time we sort of through all of this, but god damn, we had some good racing. Thank you, Zach, for not being available to cover tonight, because that was an absolute pleasure to cover. Absolutely brilliant, as Veronica said. That was an interesting race.
Apologies to the glitchiness. I'll try and play with the settings a little bit. Because I think we've got one more sunrise race, I believe, later in the season. So we'll see how we go. It's just a little bit something there with as they do updates and stuff, they keep changing little things like that. But we'll see if we can iron that out. And but yeah, that was a really good race. Basically, the top of the field was battling in a race. So apologies to the guys in the back of the field. no chance to go back and look at that. It was just a constant battle the entire race, and that was good. Unfortunately, a few incidents did sort of muddy the waters, but it was very very entertaining to watch.
That is an absolute GSRC classic. That's got to be one of the best races the GSRC has ever seen. It's a shame some of the racing wasn't quite as clean as it could have been, but it certainly added to the drama for us.
So we know Haynes isn't third because he's got a 15 second penalty. Braden is a question mark, so it could be Braden, it could be Nick Wood on the podium. We're not 100% sure until we actually look at the penalty results. But yeah, so definitely some movement in that top 10 once we get the official results in. But very 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 hectic and exciting racing.
And Matty Dench finishing 11th despite 2 spins. So I think we'll call that impressive, if nothing else. Provisional results. They're to change. I think what's not up for debate is Jared Knight has won this race. And Richard Mitchum is in second place. So I think we can say that with absolute certainty. I don't remember seeing any questionable conduct from either of them.
Yeah, I think that's
any
pretty much
funny business, any collisions. They both drove fantastic racing, smart races. Did a wonderful strategy, particularly Richard Mitchum, who seemed to come out of absolutely nowhere to be in the battle for the victory, and absolutely brilliant. Just phenomenal from Knight and Mitchum on merit. I'm just going to call it on merit. Yes, both PGZ guys had spins. They're both intensely in that battle with Sagasa and Haynes, but Knight and Mitchum just came out ahead of that battle and put 5 seconds between them. It's absolutely fantastic from them. And now we wait to see if any of the stars of this race are going to join us in the broadcast booth. I dare say there's a few will have something to say, but they might be too tired or might be too busy in race control to join us. So we'll give it
the race control. The race control queue looks more like it's mostly the EM guys at the moment.
Yeah.
Because Kevin's in race 2. Oh, here we go. There they come.
Here they come. I wonder what happened in the AM split, actually. It'll be interesting to find out when we see the results a bit later on. And we've been joined by Thomas Foster and Greg Heaney. Thomas Foster up 8 spots, finishing 8th. Good race.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with that. That was a pretty tough race when it came down to it. It was wasn't a lot of room for error, and I short fueled myself, so that was a little bit iffy there.
Oh, short fueling yourself is a horrible feeling, isn't it? When you realise you got cars behind you, like, oh, I've got to go slower. Wonderful.
Oh, it was when I actually came out of the pits, and I was like, oh, I came out quicker than most of those guys. Something's wrong here.
You're like, either they've all miscalculated or I have, and I know which is a higher probability.
Exactly.
It's so horrible when something happens in pit lane. I had it the other night. I accidentally changed tyres, and then I came out like, whoa, that was a bit iffy. And then I actually spun. I'm like, it's cold tyres, isn't it? That's what it is. Anyway, so up 8 positions. Was that all on track, or was there a hefty dose of strategy involved in gaining those 8 spots?
I did do a fair chunk of fuel saving, which I think is what got me closer to a couple of those spots. But there was a lot of people that spun. I think we saw Matty Dench on the side of the road. There was a couple of times actually, but there was a few guys that had a couple of offs, and that's all you need in this category to lose a massive chunk of time.
Yeah, it is. It's such a competitive field and such a huge field as well. And we saw around here that there weren't big gaps opening up, so you lost one spot, you tend to lose 3 or 4. Is that what you found?
Yeah, well, generally speaking, across the whole category, you can make one corner wrong, and yes, you will lose like 3, 4, 5 spots, and to make that back is nigh on impossible. Like these guys, the class of them, quality of the racing is just phenomenal.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. I definitely go back and watch the broadcast because it was absolutely incredible. I've covered a fair few of the GT3 races for GSRC over the last couple of years. This is the pick of the bunch, and it's not even close. In terms of like just great action throughout the entirety of the race, great storylines. It was just couldn't take your mind off it, couldn't take your eyes off it, and my voice is not going to recover for days. They're certainly not going to be recovered by Thursday when I get back into Wednesday when I get back into another stream. So after tonight, what's next for you, racing wise?
I do a couple of series, not just GSRC, but I think I'm almost time to start practicing the Nürburgring, I think it is.
Oh, that's going to be great. That's going to be fantastic. Particularly if we get a grid this big again.
I've only ever think I've completed about 3 laps around there, so I've got a bit of catching up to do.
Yeah, you certainly do. You certainly do. Well, I'll let you get off to that quite early. Thank you for joining us in the comms book and comms box. Congratulations on your result tonight. Our back places is certainly nothing to be sniffed at, and best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thanks very much. Have a good night.
You too, buddy. You too. And now we'll cross over to Greg Heaney, who finished in 36th spot. And it's not often I can say that he finished in 36th spot and beat 12 of the races, but I can say that tonight, such was the size of this field. Up 5 spots from where you qualified. How are you feeling about your night's racing?
Oh, look, not the best from me. I'm not a huge fan of Sebring. I know there's a handful within the club that aren't real fans of it. I mean, I was happy to make the end. Unfortunate for Matt, who learned how to do some pirouettes in a Lamborghini on lap 1. I think he got a helping hand there, but no, look, happy with the end result. Aiden unfortunately couldn't be with us tonight. He was a bit under the weather. Jackson couldn't make it. His pedals died last week, so he's waiting on some replacements for that. But it was good to at least have 4 of the 6 of us on track tonight. So,
do you know if they were watching tonight? Because they were.
I did tell Aiden to at least jump on and watch the stream, but I don't know if he did or didn't jump on to check it out. So we'll most likely find out the next day or two when he jumps on to our Discord to have a chat.
If it did jump on and you are able to, send us a comment, Aiden. Let us know that you're there. So, not the best race. You said Sebring, not a track that you enjoy. I can relate to that. I hate racing Sebring, to be honest. It's just not one that correlates well with me. But next week we're at Red Bull Ring. Is that going to be a happier hunting ground for you?
Oh, look, we'll see what comes. But echoing Thomas's comments, with the caliber of competitors in this field is insane. And when you've got a field of 49 cars, it certainly makes it rather interesting to try and get places back. I think there was at one point in the second race, I slowed for I think it might have been Matt, or it could have been somebody else spinning on the back straight. I slowed for that, got dive bombed by 3 cars, lost 5 spots in one corner. And it was then on in earnest to try and gain at least 2 of them, a couple of them back, which I think I managed to get a couple on an undercut and a pit stop, but that was about it.
Yeah, I will say we do have yellow flag rules at GSRC.
I'm aware of those.
Yeah, you're aware of it. I'm just pointing out for anyone that might not be aware, and just to let people know. So that's really unfortunate that you lost those positions for people not, I assume, not obeying the yellow flags, or perhaps coming across too soon, and the yellow flags not being out yet.
Yeah, I think it may have been like not looking far enough ahead down the field, down the track to see the spin. I mean, also the benefit of having a car or another driver a couple of places or a little bit further up the road, like a corner or two up the road, and being on comms saying, oh, there's a spin here, just be aware of it. So I've obviously slowed up a little bit with preempting the yellow getting thrown, knowing that there's a car parked somewhere on the side of the road or in the middle of the track somewhere, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, so you've driven more cautiously, perhaps the others not.
Yeah,
sucks when that happens. But you still had a decent race, still up 5 spots, and you can never be disappointed when you finish higher than when you qualify. So.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, the battles that I did have around me were pretty good, so I know I was making it, like race 1, I know I was making it hard for Dane Snadden for a little bit. Race 2, I think I was making it a little bit hard for Jonathan Hooper as well for a bit, until he's just decided to light the wick and go past me on the second last lap. So he's probably saving a bit of fuel at the end, just sitting behind me. But no, it was good racing all around from where I was sitting.
Yeah, it was a really good race. Not too many retirements, given there was 49 cars, which does speak to the quality of lots of the racing. Definitely not all the racing. There are a fair few instances that we saw on the broadcast, and I recommend you go back and watch it. And I've said it already, but do go back and watch it. And thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast. It means a lot to have a few of the drivers come in and give us a driver's eye view of the race and how it went for them. Please do join us for future races when Zach is back, and good luck with the rest of the season.
No worries, cheers, Liam.
And we'll now move on to what I believe will be our last interview of the night, and it is the main man, the winner of the race, Jared Knight. Jared, fantastic performance. Congratulations.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, really wasn't expecting that coming into the race. Yeah, doing a few practice laps throughout the week, and really wasn't feeling any kind of comfortable, and then sort of found a set this afternoon, and sort of stuck with that. And then I think just a little bit of luck with some cars getting taken out that were definitely a lot faster than I was, but yeah, you take them when they come.
Yeah, I mean, look, the two BGZ guys obviously had instant-filled races. Yes,
I think that's an understatement.
Yeah. yeah, we saw that one. But other than that, I mean, you were mixing it with Sagasa and Haynes. You pulled off that wonderful strategy to pit early, get yourself into clean air. You found a gap to put yourself into, and that was what made your race, right? Because if you don't do that, you're coming out with Sagasa and Haynes, and Mitchum's coming out ahead of all of you. But it's only because you took the initiative that you got it right, and you got ahead of Haynes and Sagasa. That was what gave you the victory. So, you know, you ran with the pace of the guys that were battling for the podium positions. So even though the PGZ guys, yes, they did have instant fun races, yes, Maddie's actually came back and still got into the fight. There's a lot of merit in that, mate. So don't do yourself down. It was a fantastic. You've run an absolute GSRC classic race. How tense was that fight with Mitchum at the end of the race, though?
Yeah, that was Sweatsville. He was sort of similar in the first race as well. I can't remember who was behind us It was a group of 3 of us, and yeah, with nothing to really separate us. But yeah, the feature, I just sort of got on the back of this train here, and Braden was actually blinking a fair bit. So I wasn't too unhappy to sort of just let Simo by, and then Oscar made a move down into the hairpin as well. So I just sort of used that opportunity to save a bit of fuel, and it sort of paid dividends in the end. I guess if we weren't running a 49 car field, I probably would have pit a lot earlier, to be honest, because the pace was felt really slow, sort of through that mid portion just before the stops. So, but yeah, no, just I don't mind a little early stop and try and get an undercut. Unfortunately, this time it worked.
Yeah, you must have been like gutted partway through the race as well, because you got up to that pack, you'd got past Haynes, you were putting pressure on Sagasa, and you'd put a couple of cars between yourself and Mitchum, and then all of a sudden, a couple of laps later, you were behind Mitchum, you were back behind Haynes, and things were looking a little bit bleak in terms of the victory. So, how are you feeling at that point?
No, I sort of felt as soon as I come out, I was, like you said, I was in a lot of clean air, and I wasn't overly surprised that Denchi had somehow made his way back 5 seconds behind me. So, kind of thankful that a couple of cars come out in front of him and separated him, because I reckon if it was just a gap to me, he probably would have had the pace to catch me, to be honest. But I was fairly confident once the stops had sort of cycled through. But yeah, Richard just had mega pace towards the end. He must have had a lot of tyre towards the end of that race. But yeah.
Yeah, look, I won't keep you much any longer. You've driven absolutely brilliantly. You've won a GSRC Classic. I'm dead chuffed for you. I've watched you race the GT3s for a long time and come close to victory on more occasions than not. So congratulations. Go and enjoy this one, and best of luck with the rest of the championship.
Yeah, cheers, Liam. I'd just like to make a specific mention to the old El Presidente, David Johnson. He's having an unreal season so far. He's pulled out P6. He's found some pace from somewhere, and he's mixing it up right up the top. So yeah, hopefully that continues.
Yeah, he's good people. Good to see him up there. All right, thank you very much, and see you soon.
Cheers, Liam.
All right, so I did lie before. We do have one more interview. We got current El Presidente Joe Baldwin. Joe,
good evening.
How was your feature race?
Feature race was that was entertaining. Got a couple of little scuffles. Sorry, I had to cough. A couple of little scuffles early on, just with hard racing, but we managed to scramble back and finish 8th. So, but overall, we Colby Cowham, Andrew Neal, and William Yarwood were your podium getters. Eduardo Zamora, Glenn Wilkinson round out the top 5 with Chris Mack, Brian Bullock, myself, Jack Rogers, and Shannon Fever round out the top 10 for the GT3 AM race. So, there was a few guys that got involved in some big bingles there on a few different laps. Sort of ran the middle, just hard racing, but good hard racing. Just unfortunate little incidents that happened, and but yeah, everybody was pretty happy with the end result, and everyone was in a good mood. So it was a good race. It certainly, the pace is there during the race. For myself, as normal, I just can't qualify. I'm 21st, and where I normally start races way back there, but we managed to fight back for a semi-reasonable result overall, I guess.
Yeah, 8th is decent. Can't complain with that, particularly with the field sizes we've had tonight. Absolutely incredible.
38 cars we had in the AM. Only 31 took the green for race 2, though. We had a few guys dropped out, but we did have 38 initially.
Got 49 in the pro.
Wow, almost time to go. That's almost enough numbers to go to 3 splits. So
yeah, I'm probably going to chuck a vote up in the GT3 chat, see what the boys think, because it'll be interesting. Because some of them will like the big fields, and some won't. So you should see which way the majority want to go.
Well, even with those sort of numbers, as you know, like that's still going to be 3. If we get the percentages right for pro and AM and
it'll be about
pro and AM, it'll be about 30 20 cars.
Yeah, roughly 30-20, give or take.
Yeah, that's right. So, but what people have got to be mindful of too is people having the PCs to be able to broadcast with that many cars in. I think Ads ran into trouble last season when we had 57 cars or something. I think in supercars one night, and there's not many not many computers can handle those sort of numbers, Liam, which is just one of the quirks of iRacing, I guess. But it's certainly strong numbers. The club's going great at the moment. So we're just going strength to strength, which is great to see.
Yeah, certainly are. It's absolutely incredible numbers. I've not seen anything like it. Not across 2 splits. That's absolutely insane. How are the numbers for the stock cars, and what have we got coming up for us on Friday night?
We've been getting, I think, it's about 20 cars, I think. Sort of between 18 to 22 cars, I think, from the last couple of weeks.
Mid to high teens, yeah.
Yeah,
But it's one of those things with that car, though. You don't need many of them on track because they're big, wide, burly things. You don't need that many on there to have some racing going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And the guys tend to get into that by the end of the race. Everyone spreads out. Seems like in mid race they spread out. People look after the tyres or whatever. Then they bunch up and you get a couple of battle packs towards the end of the race, and you never know who to watch. The guys out in front or the guys that are battling for 8th are racing just as hard as what the guys up the front are. So that's been, it's something new for us. We've been running open wheelers a lot on the Friday night, and Friday night traditionally hasn't been a big number thing, but getting sort of mid to high teens on a Friday night, we're pretty happy with that, and the broadcasts are not quite as polished as what they should be, but we're trying to get there. So we're looking forward to this Friday night.
Tendency's been that because it takes a little while for everyone to get their head around, because you got to drive them to the way the car wants to be driven. You can't just go and you can't really manhandle them. You got to sort of underdrive them to get the best speed out of them. So it takes a little bit for everyone to get their head around it. So normally the first race or two, everyone sort of spreads out, tries to find the gap. But the third race, everyone seems to start getting the pace. And with that reverse top 10, the third race has always been very close.
Yeah, actually, the third race on Friday night was a cracker. I think we had Jaden Green, I think, won it, and there was a fair old battle pack there. I think there was 4 guys up in the front group. So that's something. If guys have got nothing to do on a Friday night, certainly a car that takes a lot of. It's a different mindset, I guess. Watching from the outside. With because Adam obviously is racing it, and I'm sure he'd say the same thing. It's a different mindset to driving that car to something like a supercar or a GT3. It's a completely different style of driving with that car, which is great. But this Friday night we've actually got something different. We're actually racing it on dirt at Bristol. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I had a couple of guys in for a bit of practice over the weekend and a few tips on how to handle the dirt, and a couple of the guys picked up a couple of seconds per lap, which was great to see. So we'll probably have a chat with Nick on how we'll do, whether we do laps or timed or whatever this Friday night, but it'll certainly be one not to miss on the broadcast. Should be good.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's not all we've got being broadcasted for you over this week. Of course, we got a few more nights of racing before then. Let's get up the screen and show you what we have got coming up at the GSRC this week. Up and comers at Laguna Seca with the MX-5s on Tuesday, followed by the popular GT1 Civil War at Silverstone. Silverstone's a fantastic track, get out for that one. Then the next broadcast is on Wednesday night, when I'll be back in the booth with Daniel alongside me, and we'll be covering the Production Car Challenge from Laguna Seca with the MX-5s. That was incredible last week, so do watch that. And then we've got the GT4 Challenge, which is going from strength to strength. It's moved from Monday nights to Wednesday night. It became took over the main slot, and it has thrived since then. 40-minute race at Motorland Aragon Wednesday night. Then on Thursday, we've got Zach in the booth for the Formula V's at... no, we don't, sorry. We will have someone in the booth. Do we have Zach? Oh, we do. Okay, sorry. I thought it was off Thursday. No, we got Zach in the booth for Formula V's from Donington Park. That'll be 3 sprint races, Formula V's. Some of the best racing you'll ever see. And then we've got the Wings and Slicks, Super Formula Lights, very, very popular car. Huge grids, over 30 cars. And that's at Catalunya for 2 sprint races. Then on Friday, as Joe has just been discussed, we've got the stock cars from Bristol Motor Speedway on the dirt. It's a good fun series, good fun racing. And there is a broadcast for that. And then we've got the Mountain Men on Saturday. That's been a staple of the club for quite a few seasons now, and it is the Probe Mazdas at Bathurst for 32 laps. And then next week, same time as this week, Zach will be back in the booth for Super 2's from Sandown, followed by the GT3s from the Red Bull Ring. And if you would like to get some GSRC merch and wrap us while you're out and about doing your shopping or going to motorsport events across Australia, do get on to merch.tgsrci.com. The hoodie is fantastic, can recommend that, and the shirts are obviously very, very pretty. The stubby holders, bottle openers, and just about anything you can want there from the GSRC store. And this is the Endurance Championship, I believe, and someone correct me if I'm wrong.
I think they're doing a vote at the moment to whether they do it on Saturday or Sunday. So, but it'll be theoretically it is next weekend.
I believe it's cancelled. I believe
It has. Yep.
It is been cancelled. So it's because it clashed with Mother's Day.
Correct. Yeah, there was a lot of guys who weren't able to make it, and the post went up saying between the guys whether to run it on Saturday, and some guys wanted Saturday morning, Saturday Arvo. So we put the poll up, and it was actually majority just to skip it, and we'll move on to Le Mans for the next one.
Yeah, and what we will do though, I believe, is we're going to move one of the races from Season B to Season A and make it 2 5-race seasons. I think that's up for discussion. I don't think it's confirmed yet, but that is something actively being discussed. So apologies to everyone that was looking forward to Laguna Seca on the 12th of May, but that has been cancelled due to a clash with Mother's Day, and I think it was 10 cars that said they couldn't make it, so we just weren't going to have the numbers. So instead, it has been cancelled, and the next round will be at Le Mans in a couple of months' time. And I think that's it for everything we got coming up at the GSRC. It's an absolute smorgasbord of racing. Tell your friends about us. Let's get the numbers up. Let's make every single category have 30 plus cars and 2 sprints and 2 splits, because that would be absolutely incredible. Thank you very much, everybody that has joined us. It's been an absolute pleasure bringing you this broadcast. Thank you very much to our sponsors, Waste Options, Orbic Australia, Lobesy Racing, M-Wave Australia, and Flash Graphics for allowing us to bring you, and it's rated non-alcoholic cider, of course, for allowing us to bring you the incredible racing that we've got here at the GSRC day after day after day, week after week. It's been great fun bringing it to you tonight, from myself, from Adam, from Joe, and from all of us at the GSRC. Enjoy your racing, and we will see you again soon.